Good evening, friends. We're live again tonight. It's day 95, 100 days straight we're working on, and today's 95, and probably for the last almost 14 nights, we've been talking about Dogecoin and cryptocurrencies, the broader stock market to a certain extent, but I got in on Dogecoin back in early March, and it has fascinated me. And I've found that there's obviously a lot of other people that want to talk about it, want to learn about it, looking into, what does the future hold for Dogecoin? Not only that, but, when we look at what Bitcoin's doing right now, what Ethereum's doing, what the whole cryptocurrency market is experiencing, it's an interesting time to say the least. We're going to talk briefly tonight also about Joe Biden and what he's proposing with regards to capital gains, long-term capital gains tax. Also want to talk tonight a little bit about the possibility of Jeff Bezos either investing in Dogecoin or maybe Amazon beginning to accept it. There's no concrete information on that yet, so this is not clickbait. We just want to talk about it, want to know what other people think about. Do you think it's even possible? Do you think he would do it? What impact do you think it would have on Dogecoin? And also, it's likely that if Amazon were to accept Dogecoin, that it would not be Dogecoin only. Most of the other merchants that we've talked about, that have been highlighted, that have been talked about by a number of other live streamers, most of these other merchants are not only taking Dogecoin, but they're taking Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others. And also most of them are doing that through a company called BitPay. Now, with Amazon being as big as it is, they may choose to do their own thing. But Mark Cuban, of course, the owner of the Mavericks and Shark Tank, guy, he's a billionaire as well. They use BitPay, I know for sure. So it'll be interesting. First thing we want to do, though, want to welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Chris. Hey, Damien. We got started late tonight, but I think it's right in line with the crew that we seem to have been, that's been joining us, because we've got a bunch of night owls. I'm the night crew on talking about Dogecoin. So, we're going to get right into it. Damien, I'm going to go ahead and show your comment, and then I'm going to show where we're at with market cap tonight. It hasn't changed much necessarily, but we kind of like to go over that first and then get into other things. But then it would hit $1 within 24 hours. That's what most people believe is the case, and it very well may be. The interesting thing, however, is going to be, what I'm curious about is, what's going to happen with the whales and what they're doing, right? So there's still, it would seem, I just looked at it before I went online. I'm not going to pull it up tonight. I've shared the link out where people can look at the activity of the top 100 wallets for Dogecoin, but they do seem to still be controlling in many ways, or it certainly appears to me, they seem to be controlling where the price is. And we'll talk about that more in a minute. So you guys hang with me if you want to go over that, and we'll certainly do it. So, as always, Bitcoin's on top, but as you can see, they are more than 70 billion. That's a B, over 70 billion down in market cap. It is normally 1 trillion and change. They're at 930 billion. I have not looked at it today. Well, I have looked at it today, but it's been a while earlier today, and I got busy on some other things, so we'll pull it up in a minute. But it's, Okay, here it shows it actually. So it's 49. It's been, I think, as high as maybe 52 today. It's very possible that Bitcoin is a good buy right now. The only question I would have, is it going to drop lower? Obviously, even if it's going to drop a little bit lower, if it's going to recover, get back up into the 60s, then it would be a good buy. Excuse me, even fractional shares. So Ethereum is, like always, a number two, a distant number two, but nonetheless number two. Bitcoin, or Binance Coin, sorry, three. Won't talk about all these others, but Dogecoin has worked its way up a spot. From the last couple of days, it has hovered in number 7, number 8, and coming back into number 6, depending on how things are going. And it would actually really be interesting. I don't have the time to do, but I really wonder how much of this volume, if you will, this 10 billion in volume, I wonder how much of that is these whale wallets, if you will. Now, the one thing that we have to think about real quick when we talk about these wallets, honestly, that's so mysterious and hard to fully understand how it impacts. It's very possible, I've read that some of these wallets may actually be the wallets of some of the exchanges like Robinhood or others. And so if that's how they're actually, in a sense, making a market, then you would certainly expect large transactions going through those wallets. So I don't know how that all works. And until recently, really, until about a week maybe or so, there wasn't a lot of talk about the whales. Certainly they get their time. I know back in February on Reddit, it was kind of a thing, and they were talking about it some. But and I'm only, I've only been really tracking this since March myself. So, it's just, I wondered, it's a thing that we wonder, right? When is it going to start rising back into the 30s and 40s, 35, 40, 45? It's interesting. Don't really know. But Dogecoin at 35 billion, I think we all know that last week at one point, I don't remember exactly when, but it had been 50 billion, 52 billion at its peak. And definitely number 5. It might have even went into number 4 for a brief period of time. $200 billion has basically vanished from the cryptocurrency world, if you will, because of what's going on. We talked about this a little bit last night, but one of the things that most people believe has caused this, a couple of things. Of course, we had last weekend where some of the biggest mining farms that exist, and in China there was a power outage, so that was part of the problem. Another part of the problem this week was President Biden's announcement, if you will. I don't know exactly how he said it, but then all the news outlets, all the websites that report on all things investment, finance, cryptocurrency, all of that, reported that Biden is going to push for basically doubling the long-term capital gains tax. And then if you're in high tax states like New York, California, it's basically 50, I think almost 55%. So you're looking at basically walking away with 45%. And that's even worse than paying, for most people, than just paying your regular income, on your in short term. And not only that, and I'm going to pull up an article here in a minute. I'm also going to get to the comments. Not only that, there are those that believe that it should be 80%. And some of those even want to basically take out the taxes before you even sell it, like on a prorated basis or something like that. In other words, if it increases in value, then they want to take that out, maybe on a monthly basis. I don't know what, but it has scared, obviously, a lot of people. I think they've reacted, obviously, too soon. This can't just happen overnight. And then the other reason, arguably, not to react the way that people have, but they did anyway, is the fact that just like Clinton apparently did, and I honestly don't remember it, but apparently Clinton, when he was president, actually, increased the long-term capital gains and made it retroactive, so people had to pay it anyway. And if this even gets passed, which I think most people believe that at least this egregious, if you will, 40% will not pass. Some kind of a compromise, if anything, will pass. But even if it does get enacted, it's going to take a while. You can't just snap your fingers and that happen. So we'll see. We'll see how soon it happens. If it does, I obviously hope that it doesn't. But let's look at some of the comments. So we've got quite a few coming in here. Mark Cuban bought a bunch of Dogecoin for his son. Yes, he did. Mark Cuban's definitely on. He's been pretty open about it. We also know that, and you probably know, Chris, as well, that the Dallas Mavericks are accepting Dogecoin along with a number of other cryptocurrencies for their tickets and for merchandise. Houston Rockets are doing the same thing, and then the owner of the Houston Rockets has a baseball team, and they're also accepting Dogecoin. You may have seen today also on Twitter, and I'll pull it up here in a minute, but apparently a dentist is accepting Dogecoin. Interesting thing, you'll always know here at this channel that I'll be as thorough as possible. Actually the phone number of the dentist is right there on the picture. You can zoom in and get it. I called. Of course, I knew that they would probably be closed today, but I called, and at least the name is correct. Phone number is correct. Recording picks up, but the Twitter handle that it's shown on the picture doesn't seem to exist. So I don't know if that's something they're planning on doing or what. So I'm honestly not sure if that picture somehow has been doctored. I don't know, but what I want to find out, I'm actually going to call them and find out if they'll be on the show, even for 10 minutes. Want to, find out, just talk to them and say, hey, why did you decide to do this? How are you doing it? Are you using BitPay, some other service? I'm not sure, but something I'm looking into, gifting your spouse. What? Hey, Alexander, how's it going, my friend? Thanks for joining. The circulating supply is a bit worse and makes it harder to gain. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Again, I'm tempted to get into some Bitcoin as well, because it has such a long ways to go to get back up to where it was. Like many things, I'm just not sure if it's at the bottom yet, or if it's going to hover here or hover at some point lower again. Again, if I also read an article today that the UK is basically in agreement with the United States that there needs to be more control, more legislation, all of that. And honestly, I think that's the last thing we need, is the government to get more involved in cryptocurrencies. Yes, it is, arguably somewhat the wild, wild west, but we all know what happens when the government gets involved. Let's just look at our dollar. That's all I have to say. Whoever's watching right now, this guy knows a little bit of a little bit of stuff. Hey, thanks, Chris. I spent all day today, actually, I live in Texas, and we had the what they call it. I'm trying to think the 100-year freeze or whatever the term was, but in most of Texas, a little over a month ago now, I guess it's been, we had low temperatures that we just hardly ever have. Things had frozen, electricity, rolling electricity every hour. Some people were without electricity for 24, 48 hours, without water, all the things. And so, we were very lucky, but our pool, I have a pool, and a part on the pool basically broke, and we couldn't run it and run the cycle where you can keep it clean and all that. So algae, mold, all the things. So we're having to drain our pool today and power wash it and all of that. So as much as I love to just look at Doge all day long, I wasn't actually able to spend as much time as I would like to. But anyway. Oh, right, for tax purposes, yeah. And the guy that's the CEO of MicroStrategy, I keep forgetting his name, but he's like, how are you going to tax my Bitcoin if I just mysteriously lose my wallet, right? Anyway. Well, what I want to do now is I want to pull up one of these articles that about the tax. And then we'll get into talking about Jeff Bezos a little bit and what it could mean to Dogecoin. We've already heard, that it would go to $1 within 24 hours, and that's very possible. Very possible that that's what happens. But here's a article from Investor Place. From what I can tell, this is a pretty good source. I try to, again, call out when I'm reading these things where I don't necessarily agree or, think that they're all wet, if you will. But so heading here's 80% crypto capital gains tax, 15 things we need to know about the rumors. And right now, we should consider them as rumors. We also know how things can get out of hand. One of the things that is thought to be the cause of the crash last weekend with Bitcoin and Ethereum especially was that, supposedly the Treasury Department was looking into organizations that were using Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others possibly to, for money laundering. It turns out that was purely a rumor, and so I don't know if that rumor was spread specifically to cause the market to come down. You never know, right? There's ways to manipulate this, but here's the reality. People have the choice to react the way that they want to, but, at the same time, it's hard to always know what's true and what's not. So long-term capital gains could also double. We'll see. Don't really know. But to start off, the rumors claiming that Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen wants to institute 80% crypto capital gains. I mean, if they really want to do that, if that's really the case, I think that's just a way for them to basically shut it down. I mean, who's going to pay 80% capital gains on their cryptocurrency investment? That's ridiculous. So one of the things is, I don't know about this, the 80%, but the 40%, the doubling to 40%, is for those that are earning $1 million or more. Okay, some of these I'm not even going to bother reading because I think most of us know that there's there's short-term and long-term, and we're mostly talking about long-term capital gains because, many of the wealthy, and honestly anyone arguably smart enough with investing. If you have real estate, if you have stocks, securities, cryptocurrency right now, that type of thing, if you can hold on to it, keep it invested for a year, then after that first year, you're looking at most 20% as opposed to your standard tax bracket. And many of the rich obviously don't get paid a salary, so they're not paying income tax on any kind of a salary. They're paying income tax on capital gains on assets that they own. And that's certainly one way that those that are smart, if you will, avoid paying higher taxes. As we've mentioned, there are rumors that President Biden wants to increase this to nearly 40%. It's 38 point something or another, and then I believe New York and California have a 12% tax or something along those lines tagged onto it. Then there's the 80% crypto capital gains tax. So there's a lot of, I think, concern right now. It was brought up the other night, and I'm going to get back to the comments, by the way, but it was brought up the other night in one of the live streams, in the form of a question. Basically asking me the question, do you think that the government should be allowed to buy crypto? And it took me a while to think that through. It was a really intriguing question, but did answer it, during the stream. And, the conclusion that I came to is, honestly, I don't believe that they should be able to. I guess you would have to pass legislation. I don't know if the government owns any right now or if they legally can, but, I think that they probably should not be able to, because they could basically be like government whales, and if they own enough of it, could control it. And that's the exact opposite of what cryptocurrency should be about. And then I also thought today, and that's why I'm bringing it up again, I thought, okay, well, if it was illegal or something they couldn't do, think about this. And I'm not trying to come up with a conspiracy theory, just thinking about, what are other ways that the government could do this? They could obviously have, have someone else, if you will, a quote unquote private citizen in their back pocket, and have them buy up large quantities of it, and do their bidding, if you will. And in return, obviously, they get big government contracts or something like that. Obviously I would hope that would never happen, but we all know that things go on. Let's see. Some analysts believe that an 80% crypto tax gains is unlikely. I do as well. That's just absurd. I can't even imagine that that's even something they're thinking of. I also heard today that South Korea is either thinking about or has actually outlawed cryptocurrencies. China is actually changed their tune, from what I understand, and they're behind it for the most part. Binance, I think, is the largest or one of the largest exchanges out there for cryptocurrencies, and it is in China. It's based in China. QCoin, which I actually tried today, and I know that some of our friends here use it. I tried to use it today, honestly, and got a little bit overwhelmed. And I was going to try to buy some Ethereum with a credit card, and it uses some kind of a, I guess, exchange, and it was going to cost me like $13 to do the transaction. So I decided not to do it. There's probably something I don't know about it, and I will revisit it. I will revisit it next week. But I mean, I like what I see from the interface, those types of things. The trading bot that they have, various different things. But I'll be honest, I am spoiled, rotten, I guess, when it comes to Robinhood with regards to knowing that I'm not paying any fees. I know there are those that suggest that Robinhood's skimming some off the top, but they're not skimming, $15-20. I know that's not happening. So anyway, if you're using QCoin at all, I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. Let's get back to the comments. Actually, I think we've shared enough on this article, and hey, first of all, I want to welcome Wake Up. That's a really unique or interesting handle there. So thanks for joining us. I hope that you'll subscribe and turn on notifications. We're going live every night talking about Dogecoin. I joke about being the night shift, so it tends to be 11 o'clock, midnight, 1, 2, sometimes through 3 in the morning, my time, where we're covering this. So thanks for joining us. And is Binance working? Well, I don't know if you mean, is the exchange down, or do you mean, is it working for me? I am not able to actually use it in my state, in Texas. I'm actually going to pull it up here real quick. I think I actually have a ticker here that I was using for Binance. I'm not 100% certain, but I thought I had it. Let's just pull it up, Binance US, and then if it's working, I'll pull it up. I mean, it seems to be working, but I'm not 100% certain. So I will show the screen, and it's super, super small here. But only certain, you just saw that, only certain US Binance. Let's see if we can just do it like that and see. Yeah. As far as I know, Binance is working, but again, I don't use it that often. So here's the interface. And so the data for it, at least, is working. But maybe you want to clarify what you're asking, because I'm not 100% certain, but I don't use Binance. I use Robinhood. And I'm about to use Webull to buy also some Dogecoin, or that's what I would like to do. But it's not at a price that I'm wanting to get in right now, honestly. I'm gonna pull up the chart here in a minute, and we'll all be able to see together. You probably already looked at it, but it has been mostly flat at 27 cents, going up to 28 at times, but mostly 27 cents for a number of hours. And again, literally right before going live, I went and looked at the online reports, if you will, the online transactions for the Dogecoin wallets, and it's very evident that a number of wallets are still buying and selling significant amounts of Dogecoin. And you can look at one transaction literally after the other, and the price paid to buy or the price received to sell is pretty much the same, over multiple transactions. So do you think traders are keeping Doge alive, or are they more harm than good? That's a super good question, Chris. And it's hard to know. I've talked about this the last probably 2 or 3 nights. I wish I actually knew a whale, or could get one to come on, like you see on these shows where their face is covered and their voice is distorted, and kind of have them come on and interview them and ask them, number one, my first question would be, hey, are you coordinating? Are you working? Do you know some of the other whales? Are you guys, doing some type of coordinated trading? And, if you are, just curious why, are you, again, like you say, trying to control, keep it at a certain level? Are you, what kind of plan do you have? What is what's the end goal that you have in mind? Again, it's, for multiple days, it has for several hours stayed pretty much at a given price. And then you can go and look again at this online information and see that given price, give or take maybe a fraction or two, or fraction of a penny or so, is exactly what you see when you're looking at it on Webull or Robinhood or Kraken or just about any other source of price data for that coin. So yeah, I don't know what they're up to. I'd like to hope that it's ultimately good. I had thought, like some of the other streamers out there, I had thought that maybe they were going to run out. I did not go to the effort like some had of calculating, okay, this particular wallet is going to, at the pace that they're going, looking at the pattern that they had in 4 days, quote unquote, they're going to go to zero. Now, I showed this last night on the stream, or the night before. I can't remember. It all runs together. I showed one of the wallets that had gone to zero, and it stayed zero for a little while, but then they started buying again. So, in other words, they could keep this up forever. So, but maybe it's good. Maybe they want to keep it, at least above 20 so that people just don't walk away from it completely. That's the worst thing, obviously, that could happen for the Dogecoin, is for the momentum to subside. For all the Twitter posts to stop, cease, all the Reddit, all the Discord, all the live streamers, all that. I mean, if that goes down, then Dogecoin is in serious trouble. It certainly helps that more and more merchants are starting to accept it. I actually watched a streamer the other day, and I thought this was really interesting, what I'm about to tell you. And, apparently in like the Bay Area, California, Bay Area, San Francisco, Silicon Valley, if you will, there were, a number of merchants. Just think of your everyday merchant, like coffee shops, sandwich places, just your average, not a chain like, whatever, McDonald's or Starbucks, just your, normal kind of small business. They were accepting Dogecoin apparently for a while, and then they stopped because it just wasn't, the momentum wasn't there. I know a lot of people talk about spending it, and I know that helps with the momentum behind it, but I really wonder, and what will always happen on this channel is just transparency and really just trying to talk and discover, what's really going on. I wonder how many people would actually spend that Dogecoin on a coffee. Most people, I think, want to see the price go up so that they can actually, so that their investment can actually mean something. If they're spending it on a coffee, then they're eating away, right, at the number of coins that they have, and then the capital appreciation obviously is going away. So if they have hundreds of thousands, maybe that's not that big a deal. But if you're talking about someone that invested $500 and they're hoping that turns into 20,000, let's say, or 50,000, do you think they're going to spend it on a sandwich or a book or something on Amazon. I don't know. I hope that they will, because it will help with the, I think, ultimate growth for the coin. I honestly have no intention of spending it on those kind of things, but we do need people that do want to, in order for those that are more of an investor, for that for the coin to go up in price. Yep, 35% already. Yes. For sure, Kevin or Chris. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are probably in that 35% tax bracket. And it, of course, with, the tax code the way it is right now, that changed, when was it, 2018 or whenever it changed, maybe it was 2019, a number of, tax write-offs, if you will, disappeared. Hey, Matt, new, sorry, asked what been answered, but will he invest in Doge? Okay, hey, I'm glad you're new. Thanks for joining. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click that bell, so that you can know when we go live the next time. You guys, if you don't mind smashing the like button, that obviously helps as well. But Matt, thanks again for joining. You're asking, will he invest in Doge? So I'm guessing you're talking about Jeff Bezos, because that's what the title of the video was. And I think it's a really good, intriguing question. I don't know. I've heard some say that they kind of give it a 50-50 chance. If you think about it right now, the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, is definitely behind the coin. I saw a video today, or a picture today on Twitter. Honestly, don't know if it's true or not, but the the dog behind Dogecoin, the Shiba Inu, I think it's what you call it, a Japanese dog. I'm sure you know that SpaceX, along with NASA, sent a manned rocket. I don't know what else to say it, or spacecraft to the space station, and there's this picture that shows a dog, a Shiba Inu dog, in the control room. So I don't know if it's real or not. It's really funny nonetheless, and I'm actually going to pull it up here in a minute. So, but Matt, let me know, and I think I'm seeing your comment here. Give me a second, and I'll get to some clarification on it. You just got up? Is that what you're saying, Matt? Hey, Manny, good to see you on, my friend. I might get it if it goes to 20. I'm slightly doubtful it will go much lower than that. Yeah, the time to have bought was, I think it was 2 days ago when it was 17, and then the next day, the lowest it got was about 19. It may make it. I can't even talk. It may make it back down to 20, and it may be the whales that get it there. It would be nice to, just discount what they're doing so that you could know that it's normal market forces happening, your average Joe Blow, and their either excitement or their desire to get out. If that, to know that that's all that's happening, it's a little bit easier. I actually just got started watching a guy. His name is George, and you'll have to go check out his YouTube channel as long as you come back and be here with me. And I'm halfway joking, but Cryptos Are Us, I think is what it's called. His name is George. I literally just saw him for the first time the other day. Seems to be a very knowledgeable guy on crypto, and someone that apparently has been, investing in crypto for a number of years, knows a lot about a lot of different coins, a lot of different projects. And he said something yesterday, in a video that I watched yesterday, that lines up with my general feeling, and he knows a lot more than I do. He basically said that Safe Moon, he mentioned. And I think he mentioned Safe Moon, but he definitely mentioned Dogecoin. He's like, there's no reason to do TM on those. And he meant TA, technical analysis, because I brought this up several times the other day, and we can get into this a little bit, but with all the activity the whales are doing, how in the world can technical analysis take into account their activity? I just don't see how it happens. So I honestly would like to actually talk to a technical analyst that's analyzing Dogecoin with those tools. You know, how do you take into account all the stuff that's going on with the whales? I know that some of them are seemingly hitting it pretty much on the head, and not to discount them in any way. I'll put it on me and say my ignorance and just my maybe simplistic way of thinking about that. Maybe they're just getting lucky. I don't know. But I'm not putting a whole lot of credence, if you will, at this point in time in technical and analysis for Dogecoin. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't watch someone that is. It's just, for me, I don't see how it is very effective at this point in time, at least. Yeah, Matt. Again, the question was asked earlier, I think by Chris, was, do you think it's good or bad? I think it could be either. They may actually have a very noble thought in mind with what they're doing. I know that a lot of people, and we've talked about this before, I know a lot of people were in it for a fast buck. You know, I think I've used the analogy, I'll use it again. Rush Limbaugh, used to talk about low information voters, and basically what he meant by that is voters that just listened to what other people said and went with what someone else said that they maybe gravitated to, as opposed to doing their own research, as opposed to finding out for themselves what the issues are and what the different politicians actually believed about those issues and all of that. So I think there are low information investors as well. And obviously, if they're listening to the right people, things will go good. If they're listening to the wrong people, things will go bad. Or if they're not listening to anyone and just, throw something up against the wall, as they say, and hope that it will stick, then there's going to be problems. And I think what happened with, a lot of these investors that got in, either on 420 or before 420 came along, when April, 20th didn't turn out to be what a lot of us were hoping it would, either going up to 50 cents or, some were saying, let's get it to 69 cents. When that didn't happen, a lot of people, I think, panicked, and they realized that they weren't going to make the kind of money that they thought they were, and they just got out, right? The typical, buy high, sell low, right? Buy at 35, sell it at 20, that kind of thing. So I feel for them if that's what happened. And, maybe it'll be a learning opportunity for those that's, what they did. And I think, again, now with some insight that many of us have on these whales, quote unquote, 420, it's possible that could have never been what many of us wanted it to be, because the whales had so much, so much ability to manipulate. So, hey, J5ROV3, that's a really interesting name there, but sign up for Voyager, use my code, get free 25 BTC for signing up. So, question I have about Voyager, not heard necessarily raving reviews about it. So if you're going to, put that out there, put in the comments. Let us know why you think it's good and all of that. And I will, consider keeping that in the chat, but just let us know why you think it's so good. Make sure you subscribe, hit notifications so that you can, I ask a lot about platforms, what platforms people are using. So we don't want spam necessarily, but I'm also open to people sharing what they've got. I will also say that, for Robinhood, if you're looking for Robinhood or Webull, I do have links in the description for that. And with Robinhood, you get 2 free stocks. Actually, you can get up to 3 free stocks worth up to $500. And then with Webull, you can get two free stocks up to $1,850. And then with some referrals, once you get set up with Webull, and with, I don't remember the number of referrals, but as you start referring other people, if that's something you want to do, you can get up to 10 stocks on Webull. So it's pretty cool. That's where I'm from, the Bay Area. Okay, Chris. Hey, maybe you can verify, or, I don't know if you can, but again, on that one video, they were saying, there was a time where there was quite a few merchants, I'm just going to use that term, that were accepting Dogecoin in the Bay Area, and then they stopped. I wonder if they were using BitPay. I'm going to guess that they did. I don't know why they stopped, really, except I guess there just wasn't as much demand as people might have thought. Hey, Matt, thanks for subscribing, my friend. That's awesome. Jeff Bezos, yep. I would tend to agree. I don't know if it would take, or if it would happen in 24 hours, but I do believe that if Jeff Bezos was to, give a thumbs up on it, even a tweet, but I don't think he's very active on Twitter. Not Elon Musk is, I don't know if you would call him active, but he's got a lot of followers, and when he says something, people perk up and listen. I don't think Jeff Bezos is as active on social media, but I think if he got the word out, if you will, that he was, even if he said, I'm considering, right? In other words, if the words came from him and if it could be verified that it was basically him saying that, just him saying, I am heavily considering investing in Dogecoin. We're, definitely considering accepting Dogecoin and other cryptocurrency at Amazon. That would have, I believe, an effect. Basically the price going up. Fan of XRP. I'm holding both XRP and Doge to the moon. I am a fan of XRP. That's actually what I was going to try to buy on QCoin, but again, I had some problems. So, I guess the problem I had is it looked to me like I was paying about $13 to use basically a credit card to do it, and I'll be honest, I couldn't figure out how to fund the account like through my bank account, so I gave up. But I'm curious, CK, where you're buying your XRP, because I am a big fan of XRP. I don't have any yet. I would like to get some. I would like to see them listed on Webull. That would be great. I don't know why they're not on Robinhood. Well, I think I do. They've been delisted from Coinbase. Maybe they will be reinstated on Coinbase when all the dust settles on their issues with the SEC. I think they have a very bright future, and I would like to get some in my portfolio before it reaches $10. So CK, hope you'll also get fully connected here, subscribe, turn on the click that that bell, and the like button would be awesome. Thank you so much for coming along. Let us know more about why in the chat. I would love to hear more about why you are so keen on XRP. What is it that you like about it? Again, let me know where you bought it, if you don't mind. I'd love to know. Yeah, that's true, Matt. I mean, again, I'm not down on technical analysis. I think it has its place. I think it is a very valuable skill to understand how to do it, how to interpret the data, how to apply all the different things that you can do, trend lines, Fibonacci, support, all those kind of things, consolidation. And I have every intention, honestly, of trying to get more familiar with it. I am a finance major, actually. Did not focus, honestly, just an undergraduate, but didn't focus on technical analysis that much. I think more of what I received was what you would maybe call the fundamental analysis, and also spent a fair amount of time in my curriculum on real estate and a number of other things. And so technical analysis was not something at the time, which that was now 30 years ago. So I do plan on honestly learning more about it. Elon Musk tweeted today, let me actually have that. I'm going to pull it up because I have that tweet. I did do a little bit of looking around on some things. Where did it go? Okay, I'm just going to search for it real quick. You guys keep the comments coming. I am going to look up real quick. My internet is really slow today, so I apologize. It's mostly on the download, so that shouldn't impact too much. Should not impact too much what you're seeing on the stream, but it could. So I'll pull up the actual tweet here in a minute, but this is Yahoo Finance talking about it. Elon Musk tweets, "What does the future hodl as Doge goes up?" Tesla CEO is at it again while not specifically supporting Dogecoin. In the tweet, at least, another tweet from Elon Musk asking, "What does the future hodl?" Of course, this article says that his tweet has sparked debate among the crypto community about which coin will be biggest in the future. Well, with regards to market cap and price, I don't actually think that there's a lot of debate. There is no comparison. As much as I love Dogecoin, love it a bunch, there honestly, and it should not be taken as a negative towards Dogecoin, there is no comparison between Bitcoin and Dogecoin, except for the fact that they're both technically considered cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has emerged as a store of value, although people want to use it, apparently do use it to buy goods and services, probably more expensive goods and services like a Tesla, and maybe someone might want to buy a house with it. I've said this multiple times. Certainly between the two, I would see more people using Doge over Bitcoin to buy a coffee, let's say, or or a book, or something on Amazon. But Bitcoin has emerged as a store of value. Think of it as a digital gold. And, there are many analysts that believe that it's going to, over the next several years, reach $200,000 a coin. There's only 21 million of them ever going to be available. So they're going to be scarce. And with scarcity, that's going to drive the price up alone. And the other thing that is interesting to me, at least, is that by 2040, so that's still a ways off, 20 years, but in 2040, there'll be no more mining. it'll be over. So, I'm sure that at that point in time, there'll be obviously other cryptocurrencies, so the miners will move on to something else, but the mining stops in 2040. There are those that do believe that Ethereum, for example, could overtake Bitcoin with regards to market cap and price. That may or may not change the, or it may take a while for that to happen, if it even could happen. But you might want to think about also Ethereum, and it might be a good time to invest in that some. So I don't think there's really a debate, but nonetheless, while no specifics were mentioned in the tweet, SpaceX CEO followers have already been naming Doge and Bitcoin as primary candidates. Well, I think the way I would interpret that, since he does tend to like to either directly or indirectly give props to Dogecoin, we could actually take this as generic, him trying to basically, he is a big investor. At least with Tesla, they bought $1.4 billion worth, or something like that. It's 1.5 billion of Bitcoin, and put it on their balance sheet. So, he's definitely also a big proponent of Bitcoin. We know he's a big proponent of Dogecoin. That tweet could have just basically meant, hey, don't sell off your crypto because it's hurting right now. Dogecoin is kind of in a recovery today. And again, it could be because of the whales, who knows, but it is, would be considered, kind of on an upswing, obviously, but that's not true for Bitcoin. That's not true for Ethereum. That's not true for a number of the other cryptocurrencies. So his tweet could have basically truly been somewhat vague on purpose to say, hey, don't get scared. Don't overreact. Don't sell. Hold. And even more so, probably maybe consider buying. But meanwhile, Doge is on another growth streak. We already know that. It's at 27 again right now. It's been at 27 for the last, I'm going to pull up the chart here in a minute, but it's probably at least been the last 6 hours. So honestly, there's not a lot to talk about with regards to that. And that's why I'm talking about a lot of other things that are in and around Dogecoin and things that could impact it in the future, that type of thing, because today there's not honestly been a lot of excitement, or at least I've not found anything that's super exciting with regards to the price. It's stayed pretty much consistently in the 27s, getting above 27 a few times into 28. Let's see. Okay, so yes, he did tweet, and let's see if they put in a link here to the tweet. Yeah, we'll pull it up real quick, and then we're going to get back to the comments. So, like I said, unfortunately, my internet is slow on the download, so I apologize. What does the future hodl? Not a lot to it. Very simple. But look, 262,000 likes, 31,000 retweets, and so I've already liked it, as you can see, as well. So let's look at the chart for a little bit, and you'll see what I'm talking about with regards to it staying pretty much the same for a number of days, honestly. So let's first look here. Let's go back to the 23rd, which was technically not yesterday. It was the day before yesterday, because now, for me at least, it's 12:39 a.m. in the morning. So it is Sunday morning now. But so not Saturday, but Friday. If we look at this, starting at 5:05, so 5:05 in the afternoon, we're in the 22s mostly. closing at 24, and this is, pretty much just literally like think of this as a line. We draw a straight line through there, and it's it's pretty much consistent with some ups and downs, if you will. Nothing significant up and down, except for at 23:05 on Friday, it did dip down to 21, but made it back up to 24 to close. And then we did have this jump, right, to get it up to 27. It went to 28 for a little while, and then we go here, and now we're at 7:05 Central Standard Time, at least, and now we're at this new high of basically 2 cents or 3 cents above what it spent a whole day on previous to that. So we've only went up 3 pennies. I say only, I mean 3 pennies up is great, 3 pennies up. But so I guess my point is it's awesome that we're going up in one sense. I would love to go back here, right? 17. That was on the 22nd, so Thursday, at 11 o'clock in the evening. Right? That would have been a great time to buy some more. We may never see it down at this point again. I don't know. It really depends. I would say if the whales get out of the way, I would think that the momentum is going to push Dogecoin up. It's hard to know. Again, when you've got all of this volume coming from the whales, it's hard to know, obviously, what they're impacting as opposed to the average person, quote unquote. I missed the bus on Bitcoin. Another question: do you think Bitcoin will come back? Obviously, through, yeah, I think it will. But what I think it's going to stay somewhere below 60 for a little while until people have some sense of, is this long-term capital gains thing going to really happen? The 40% thing, the 80% thing, if that has some real legs on it, as they say, it's very possible that some of that money may not return to Bitcoin. Those investors may look at, they're probably already in real estate in one way or another, but they may decide to put more of their money in real estate or something along those lines, because from everything I know, at least, the real estate, you would still have issues with long-term capital gains on the real estate, but real estate's a little bit different because you can basically, take one asset, if you sell it at least, and just transition that into another asset without a tax event. And if you're just getting real estate for example, for, let's say, rental income, then, you could invest all that money in apartments and we all know how housing right now is, going crazy with regards to 135%, I think, increase in building materials, at least in certain parts of the country. Inventory is really, really low. But anyway, there's the thought that a number of, investors might not re-enter and go to real estate. The thing that's really scary about that, obviously, is Bitcoin especially has begun to be seen as a safe haven for your money as a hedge against inflation. We've printed, if I've got it right, we printed 40% of all the money ever printed in the United States has been printed this year. And also, from what I understand, we are, the inflation, not the consumer inflation that typically they're going to say is 2%, but the monetary inflation is seen to be about 15%. So as a business, at least, or an investor for that matter, you got to you got to get a return of at least 20% or something along those lines to be even ahead of inflation by 5%. Now, an asset like Bitcoin or Ethereum or, even Dogecoin or other well-performing equities can certainly keep you ahead of that curve. But uniquely, as we all know, cryptocurrencies, even more so, right? There is no other asset class that can or has been able to provide you with the same kind of returns that cryptocurrencies do. So I think it will come back if there are some assurances, or if there's something that makes people feel comfortable that the long-term capital gains is not going to change significantly. Now, everybody would obviously prefer it to stay at 20, but if it was, if it came out that the best that they're going to be able to do, or the worst, I should say, that they're going to be able to do is 30%, right? If that's what it's going to become, that probably will keep people in. And then the one other thing I'm going to say about this and move on to the other comments is that, that increase, if it happens, is supposedly going to only impact those that are, make $1 million or more. But as I talked about last night, if the millionaires get out, it's going to impact those of us that are not in that category yet. If we're us aspiring millionaires, if the millionaires and the billionaires get out, then it's going to have a trickle-down effect, in my opinion, and be problematic for all of us. I'm going to have to, I actually, CJ or CK, thank you. Did you get XRP? CK, I don't remember. Was it you that said that you had, yeah. So Voyager, did you get your XRP on Voyager? I'm assuming you did. And also, is there a commission, or is there a transaction fee when you get it? If there's not, then I've also heard there's a waiting period for Voyager. Let us know if there is. Oh, what I was saying, I've also heard that there are many that are saying that Voyager could actually potentially give Coinbase a run for their money. I guess that remains to be seen. I don't think of Voyager as sophisticated or an exchange with as many capability for institutional investors and large organizations and the wealthiest of the wealthy, but maybe they do. I just need to know more about them. Mom and pop bit shops stores Bitcoin was all over the front windows. Okay. Yeah, maybe that was just a thing that they wanted to do just to be cool, because again, I just can't imagine spending my Bitcoin on almost anything that you would buy in a storefront, but I could be wrong. Shane, once we get rich on Doge, in my opinion, invite you to my carne asada. That's funny, my friend. One of my favorite, we have I live in a small town, but we have a Mexican food restaurant here that I could eat at every day, honestly, and what I get almost every time. Every once in a while I will get fajitas instead, but I will normally get the carne asada taco dinner. So it comes with 3 carne asada tacos and rice and beans, and then of course chips and salsa, and I love it. So I'm going to hold you to that, but maybe we don't have to wait till we're millionaires, because I can enjoy a good carne asada way before I'm a millionaire. And I'm getting behind on comments. Started on Coinbase, transferred to Bitrue to buy more, and Uphold will also allow XRP purchases. Okay. I'm honestly not, I'm ignorant of what Bitrue is, honestly. but and maybe that's a typo. Sorry. Yeah, Saturday Night. I did not watch that. I guess it was tonight, but 420 Saturday Night Live is another company. Or SNLD. I'm sorry. I was thinking when you said SNL, because the SNL part of that is Saturday Night Live, and apparently I think he's on Saturday Night Live tonight. But sorry, SNLD is another company. Check it out. I think he's trying to get people that learn the market from Doge to get involved in another tangible investment, but could be crazy. So are you talking about, is SNLD a crypto, or is it a stock? We'll look it up here in a minute on Webull and bring it up. So let me just go here real quick and see if I can type it in. SNLD. Yeah, let me look somewhere else because I don't know. SNLD. Oh yeah, is it Sundial Growers? Yeah, I've seen a number of analysts talking about Sundial Growers. Why does Webull not allow me to? I wonder if it's an over the counter. SNLD. Let me just type them in. Sundial Growers. There we go. Okay, I've got Sundial Growers up. I'm going to switch to it now, and I'll get back to the comments here in just a second. But it looks like, let's pull up the day just so I can see over the last couple of days what it's been doing. And I've actually learned how to, there we go. Let me change this to where I can see a little bit more. Okay. Wow. Am I looking? Oh, sorry. I'm now looking at Tesla again somehow. Sundial Growers. Here we go. I know why that happened. Okay. So let's get up to more recent times. So, wow. Yeah. It's had a 52-week high of $3 and a 52-week low, it looks like, of 13 cents. So yeah, I've heard a number of people talking about Sundial Growers. Thanks for bringing it up. I will actually look into it more and then maybe talk about it once I've researched it a little bit more on a another stream. So I'm having issues signing up to Coinbase. Keep submitting photos. Yeah. But it isn't accepting them. On Robinhood, I submitted everything 2 days ago and I'm still waiting on approval. Really? Wow. Have you tried Webull? And if you haven't, use my link. But what are you trying to get into? Do you already have some Dogecoin as your are you trying to get yeah, I'm just curious, do you have any coins in Robinhood right now? I have an account on Coinbase, and I don't know if I sent them the photos. I must have. I think I just uploaded it, photo of my driver's license. I really hate doing that, honestly. I'm not one to like to do that so much, but I do have an account on Coinbase. I haven't used it yet. I would say probably, I'm only guessing right now, I'd have to think it through with regards to the cost. But if Coinbase was to list XRP, and if they have Cardano, and if they start carrying Dogecoin, then Coinbase could become my primary place. They have a wallet, from what I understand, even though I think it's a custodial wallet. I think you can transfer your stuff, but I believe there's a cost, right? The problem potentially with Coinbase is there's a cost to buy, there's a cost to sell. I think there's even a cost to transfer your money, off of the platform. I'm not sure, but it may be worth it. I'm really not sure. Aliska, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Have you gotten into Dogecoin yet? I'm completely ignorant of how crypto works, very new to it, but I'm curious to ask if Doge will ever be like Bitcoin. Okay. I don't think so, honestly, but that's not necessarily bad. So let me try to talk about that for just a moment. And this is, again, just my opinion. It's not financial advice. Just think of this as entertainment and hopefully, obviously, some educational value. Bitcoin, again, among all of the cryptocurrencies that are out there. And, by the way, Bitcoin being kind of the grandfather, or the way I talk about it, basically any other cryptocurrency beside Bitcoin is called an altcoin by many. So Bitcoin kind of started it all, if you will. There might have been some things that came before them, but I think they were probably the first. And I won't be able to give you a complete history of it, but Bitcoin is unique in the fact that it has truly become a store of value, something that people will trust as appreciating in value, because for one, it is scarce, right? The whole point behind it was to only ever have so many. So there's 21,500,000, something like that. 21 million. I'll just say 21 million. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, right? And so, just like anything that is valuable to people, something that people believe has value and that is scarce, that almost always has the effect of causing it to appreciate in value. That's why Bitcoin was at $60 something thousand a coin. Last week before the crash, it had reached a new high, I believe, during that week. Ethereum had also reached a new high. Ethereum is not really a store of value. Ethereum is, although there is a coin, ETH, Ethereum is more of like a network upon which you can build applications, and it is the primary player with NFTs right now, non-fungible tokens. So you may want to Google NFT. I talked about that a couple of nights ago. So Matt, I hope that you'll go and watch some of the other live streams. I've got them all in a playlist. So hope that you'll spend some time watching some of the other videos that I've been going live about. But back to Bitcoin for just a moment. In comparison to Dogecoin, most, and I agree, most would suggest that, again, Bitcoin, there's no question, no debate that Bitcoin is a store of value. And most people that are Dogecoin enthusiasts believe in the coin, want to see it grow, believe that it is more like a alternative. I'm not going to say replacement at this point in time, but truly more capable of being an alternative to the dollar in the case of the United States, the euro, possibly the yen, whatever, but a truly capable of being a alternative to the dollar to buy goods and services on a regular basis. So again, I said earlier, although at this point in time, and it could change, although I want to accumulate more and, at some point, honestly, maybe take profit, maybe not. If it truly becomes a way that people buy and sell goods and services, I'm not going to use it until I'm not able to make regular US dollars anymore, right? Because I want those Dogecoin to accumulate. I want to, I want to get ahead of the game with capital appreciation, if you will, right? I want to turn $10,000 into $1 million, for example. But again, and I talked about this last night, so I won't repeat it all. But although, well, and the other thing about Bitcoin, again, with it having a limited supply, it is non-inflationary. Generally speaking, right? It does not, it's really has, it would be very difficult for it to become inflated because it goes up in price as you move forward in time, because it's just more and more scarce, more and more people want it. So it's just like art, right? It's, in a sense, it's like a Van Gogh. There's only one of them in the world. And so the people that have tons of money are willing to pay more to get it, to be able to say they have it, right? To have it in their hands. And art, in many ways, is a store of value as well. So you could possibly kind of draw some parallels there. Again, Dogecoin, more of a alternative to being able to transact on any given day. And here's the other reason that's true. Bitcoin has a high transaction cost to actually use it, to buy something, just the way that it's architected and the way it travels through the blockchain, whereas the Dogecoin is very inexpensive for its transactions and very fast to transact. And you've got all of these other, well, I shouldn't say all of these others. You've got companies like BitPay, which the Mavericks use, the Houston Rockets use. Most of the merchants that are taking and that are saying, hey, we now accept Dogecoin, or the merchants are saying we now accept Dogecoin, what they really mean is, hey, you customer can use BitPay, which is like a credit card, and you can use your Dogecoin, or you can use your Ethereum, you can use XRP, I think maybe is on there in some cases, Bitcoin even. You can basically load that up onto this thing like a credit card. And then when you pay the merchant can either decide that they want dollars, they want to receive dollars, or they could say, I want to keep the cryptocurrency. We want to put it on our balance sheet and keep it. Some are keeping it, some are probably converting it to US dollars. So I hope that helps some. I'm going to get on to some of the other comments and let me know. So, okay, let me just talk a little bit more to try to answer one other thing with regards to your question. As far as how far Dogecoin could go in anyone on here, their lifetime, even if you're 15 years old or 10 years old and you're on here. I'll first say, I guess anything technically is possible, but the idea that Dogecoin could ever reach $1,000 a coin is highly unlikely because of what the market cap would be. In other words, the number of people that would have to be investing and buying Dogecoin and putting it in their wallets, putting it in their portfolio, however you want to say it, would be just, think of Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is down, but a few weeks ago, even last week, as early as last week, it was $1 trillion in market cap, and Dogecoin at its best was 52 billion, right? So Bitcoin is a behemoth compared to Dogecoin with market cap. So tons and tons of people would have to get in on Dogecoin for it to even possibly get to 1,000. What is maybe more likely, or what is maybe within the realm of possibility, is $100 a coin. More realistic is 5 to 10, maybe upwards to 50. That could take 5 years though. So I think we have to take it in small increments. I think it is helpful if someone can, is to say, I'm going to put a certain amount in this, an amount that could, be a $250,000 increase at some point in the next 5 to 10 years, or $1 million in the next 5 to 10 years, after me investing, let's say, $20,000 into it. It depends, right? If you had bought when it was 5 cents, or if you had bought when it was a half of a penny, you could have invested actually a lot less and still eventually been a millionaire. We talked about this last night as well, that there's a 33-year-old guy that there's an article out now on him, and I highlighted that article last night. So again, you could go watch last night's episode. But he took $180,000. I think he bought in when it was 5 cents or something like that. He took $180,000, all of his life savings apparently, and he also, I think, did a 4x margin, which I would never do, by the way. I would say he got lucky. I'm hoping that he paid off his margin calls, because he didn't sell. I read today, apparently, I don't know if it's verified or not, but from what I understand, although he became a millionaire on paper, he didn't, I don't think he took any actual profits, so he's probably down a little bit. But maybe he became a millionaire when it hit 20 cents, and if he did, then he's still a millionaire, right? If he became a millionaire when it hit almost 48 cents, then he's not probably a millionaire anymore on paper, but he would be really close. So I hope that helps some. I hope that gives you some idea of what what the difference is. You lost a lot of Bitcoin. So are you saying you lost a lot? Oh, you lost a lot in Bitcoin. Okay, but then you're now, so you got some more, and now you dollar cost average to a point where you're actually making money. That's great. Yeah, I had some Bitcoin, honestly, just a little bit when I first started with Robinhood, and then with this whole Dogecoin craze, I pretty much went all in. And I'm not saying all in with $20,000, $30,000, $180,000, not that, but on Robinhood, I had a little bit of a number of things. I pretty much said, okay, I'm going to put all of that into Dogecoin, and I'm looking to put some other crypto in my portfolio and some other stocks. I've talked about those stocks, before. Other streams, Neo. I'll probably pull up Neo here in a minute, because I'm actually kind of proud of that one, because it has actually, since I started quote unquote covering it, has made some pretty good gains. So Shane, make sure you read the whole comments. What does the future hodl? A lot. Look up the company. Is he giving us companies to invest in because something that we don't? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Getting behind. Wow, there's a lot of comments here that I didn't know that I was getting. Sorry. Any other cryptos or stocks I should buy? Hey, Alex, good question. If you guys don't mind, let me actually pull up a few stocks that I like as well. We talk about crypto a lot, and it is obviously super, super interesting to me, and one of the things that I'm big into. But I just mentioned, and I know there's a lot of other comments. I'm going to get to them if I can. Neo is the first one that I want to talk about. And do I have this on the day? Yeah, so I have this on the daily chart, And so I want to go all the way back to where it was at pretty much its 52 week, 66.99. So back on January 11th of this year, it hit a 52 week high of 66.99. And as you can see, it, it stayed in the 60s and high 50s for most of January. Actually went up there for a little bit and then started going down. I honestly, obviously should. I'm not fully aware of what caused it to go on this down streak, but what I do know and can tell you is that they are, one of the premier electronic vehicle manufacturers in China. They're actually being supported quite a bit from the Chinese government. And so, regardless of whether you think government should be involved in companies or not, obviously China is a different story. Fact of the matter is, though, right, if the government is helping you, then that typically is a partnership that lasts, which means they're going to have access to capital, access to all kinds of things. They're building a big industrial facility somewhere in China that's just going to be amazing. NIO's right in the middle of all that. NIO has also arranged to work with a traditional gas station kind of place, if you think of a gas station where people would go and get gas, to put in basically battery changing locations. And what that really means is since the battery is typically the most expensive part of an electronic vehicle, they can sell these vehicles to the customer at a much cheaper price and then just charge them a monthly fee. So it's battery as a service to just stop at a place and get a full change out of battery. So they pull in, they don't have to get out of their car or anything, fully automated. I think 5 minutes or less. The battery that's in their car that's obviously depleted gets taken out. A fully charged battery gets put in there. Depending on the service that they've signed up for, they have different capacity batteries. So in one case, it may be a 300 mile. They would use meters, of course, all the way up to, I think, 500 and something miles of capacity. And obviously they would pay more for one versus the other. So NIO, as I mentioned, I pretty much started telling people about it in early March. And, I bought some at about 36 and it's now at 41. So I think it's on the ride back up. Obviously, I don't know how long it's going to take it to get back up to, let's say it's 52-week high. What I do know that there are a number of analysts that have more time than I do, more resources than I do, that believe with a lot of conviction that it could be at $90 before the end of the year. So I'll leave it at that for now. I shouldn't say obviously, but I think Tesla is another company that you want to be in. NIO obviously competes against them, but I will say one other thing about NIO, although I've already clicked off of them. They also are moving into Europe, and as it turns out, Oslo, Norway is the per capita has the most electronic vehicles of anywhere else in the world, and that's where they're going to first begin to sell cars in, we'll just call it Europe. Maybe some people want to call that Scandinavia, but we'll call it Europe for now. No offense to those in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, whatever. But I'll call it Scandinavia. That's probably more appropriate. But NIO's going into there, so they're going to be great. But Tesla obviously is still, Tesla's kind of like the Bitcoin, right, of the electronic vehicle world. They are the grandfather. They've got the most advantage, because they've been in it the longest. Probably have, even for companies that have really progressed quite a bit, Tesla probably has at least 5 years on definitely any of the traditional gas, Ford, Mercedes, BMW, all of those would be considered legacy car manufacturers because, they started with gas. Now, Tesla, NIO, Zing, I think, is another one out of China. They all started with electric cars. Even Toyota supposedly is going to just supposedly, surpass Tesla, and maybe they will, but I think it's going to take them some time. So I would also say Tesla. One other one I will mention, and then we'll get back to the comments. I think Coinbase, to the extent that cryptocurrencies don't become a distant memory, right? So in other words, if we don't have, because Coinbase is an exchange, it's the largest one in the United States from what I understand. They do a lot of custodial type activity for, large companies, institutions, the wealthy, all of that. So Coinbase is at 291, closed at 291. It was as low as 282 today. Its 52-week high, which was achieved on the day that it went the IPO, 429. Kathy Wood, which is the founder of ARK, and I think ARK Innovation, I'll say ARK Innovation is actually the name of one of their ETFs, but the company or the investment firm ARK, they actually sold some of their Tesla, although Tesla is still their by percentage, the stock that they have the most of. They went in heavy on Coinbase. They even sold some of their PayPal and some of their NVIDIA to go and to be able to get more Coinbase. I would also recommend that you at least consider NVIDIA. Here's ARK, ARKK. Look that up. As far as cryptocurrencies beyond Dogecoin, I think Ethereum is something you want to look at. Bitcoin, we've already talked about. Don't know where the floor is. That's the main thing. But I think Bitcoin is something, even if it's fractional shares, that you want to have some in. VET is also one that I'm hearing a lot of good things about. You can't buy it on Robinhood or Webull. I'm looking into that one now, investigating it more, and we'll probably start covering it some once I can figure out how to own some. I would prefer to own it before I start covering it too much. And XRP also, and Cardano. I can't show you Cardano because Webull will allow you to pull up some crypto that they don't carry, but Cardano, which is ADA, is not one that they allow me to show. And so I won't pull up another screen and then just keep showing a bunch of those. But I would look at that as well. I have Dogecoin right now. That's awesome. I think that's great. Hold it and buy on the dip, right? Here's the thing about buying on the dip. I think it's going to be, or it already is difficult. How do you define the dip, right? What is the dip? The dip's a moving target. I bought, quote unquote, on the dip at 35 because I unfortunately sold on that amazing day in many ways where it went all the way up to 48 cents, before it then started on a gradual, downhill run. I sold not with the intention of, quote unquote, making profits, putting that money in the bank account or something like that. I sold with the intent on getting more Dogecoin, and I just didn't time it very well. And I was, I got messed up. Fajitas are my favorite. Yeah, I love fajitas. I love carne asada. I love nachos. I'm a big Mexican food fan for sure. When I went to Robinhood and started typing in HODL, a company, came up. I see. Interesting. That's very interesting. Saturday Night Live, the 8th. Okay, I see. Yeah, a lot of people are like, why in the world is Elon Musk, going on Saturday Night Live? I think he just wants to be understood and received, if you will, by the everyday person. I think he's done really well at that, going on Joe Rogan's podcast and all those kind of things. I think he is, I'll use the term loved, right? I think he is quote unquote loved by a lot of people. Of course, a lot of people hate on him as well, but I think he has a very loyal following amongst the everyday person, if you will. Hey, Sean, thanks for coming on. I'm sorry, I'm just now getting to your comment. I hope you're still on. We've had actually quite a few people putting stuff in the chat tonight. This is actually a much more chatty group than Friday night. Last night was a little bit more quiet, which is perfectly fine. But the Friday night before that was just the one that I could not keep up with, and we went 4 hours straight because there was just tons of comments, and it had like 935 views. So it's been one of the most, or one of the best lives that I've had so far. So, but I'm starting to, a number of you are obviously regulars now, so I don't even know how to tell you how much that means to me. But nonetheless, thanks for being here. And I think everyone here, I've already said that, but if you're new, go follow what I haven't said. And so I'll say this real quick, if you guys don't mind, and I'm going to turn on my overlay, if you will, for just a little bit. If you have not followed me on Twitter, up there in the top right where it shows Shane Trammel, you can just go to Twitter, or you can go in the description here if you're watching on YouTube, and towards the bottom part of that description there are links to the different social media platforms that I'm on. It'd be an honor if you would come follow me. If only one other place, come follow me on Twitter. I did not even really bother tonight to kind of go look at what's trending and tell people to come on over. So, but nonetheless, Twitter's been a great place for the Doge community. Obviously, Reddit is as well. Discord is as well. I just can't, only have so much time in the day. I can't really keep up with all of those. So I spend most of my time on Twitter with regards to social media and kind of evangelizing, if you will, on Dogecoin. Okay, Voyager is almost a penny over to buy Doge and almost a penny under to sell, but they also give 9% monthly interest. Okay, now USDC, so I'm the first to admit there's a lot that I need to learn as well. I've seen both USDC, I think, and USDT on QCoin, and what I'm gathering is that's basically a crypto version of like the dollar. I don't understand how that actually works, but I'm going to try to look into Voyager, and you may have commented further ahead and I didn't see it, so I'll ask, and if you've answered it, then I'll see it here in just a minute. But I'm just really curious if Voyager has a waiting list right now. I've heard that it has. I'll be here tomorrow to hear your thoughts for sure. You're amazing. You're too kind. You are way too kind. I just wished, more people were finding out about it, but I'm glad you're here. That's for sure. Robinhood should be the best to start with. Yep, I agree. I mean, it's super easy. I don't know why. I don't know, Matt, why, if it was you that said that you're haven't gotten accepted in 2 days. Matt, I'm assuming you also live in the United States. Not that should matter, but do you live in the United States? You should already have. Robinhood should have been super quick to get set up on. I don't know what's going on there. No problem, Matt, on the explanation. More than happy to do it. I use Schwab and Robinhood. but if you're new, start with Robinhood. Yep. I completely agree. I like Robinhood a lot. Honestly, I mean, it gets a lot of, it gets a bad rap. Another thing I'll say about Robinhood, I saw a guy tweet today, and I don't know who he is. I don't know his background or anything like that. And so I'm just going to say, take this with caution because I can't confirm the source per se, but he basically was talking about, back in January, I think it was, or whenever it was, when Robinhood basically halted trading because they were couldn't keep up with it. I guess they were going to have some exposure that which would cause them to lose a bunch of money and potentially, I guess, cease to exist in one sense. And this guy basically said, "Hey, every brokerage uses Cypher, and I haven't had the time to look up Cypher. I guess maybe they're market makers, something like that. Maybe in essence a intermediate to the different, access to stocks, if you will, and all that kind of stuff." He's like, every broker uses them, and every other broker almost in history has halted trading at times to protect their exposure. So I guess it's a thing that routinely happens. So I don't hate on Robinhood as much as some do, but I'm not going to speak and for them in the sense that when they're doing things that they shouldn't do, or if they've got problems with customer service, then they've got problems with customer service. They need to solve it. That's why I think they're working on getting a wallet, because I think they realize if they don't get a wallet, they're in serious trouble. What do you think? What do I think about going to make Dogecoin here to stay? Okay, sorry. What do you think it's going to take? Okay. That's a really good question. I honestly think it's already here to stay. I just don't know at what level it's here to stay, right? In other words, I could be completely wrong. And I kind of said this, I think, a little bit earlier in the stream. It's very possible that 20 cents is the new floor. It may, I can't even talk. It's late. It may never, ever see, sub 20 cents again. 20 cents may be the lowest it ever goes again. Don't know. But I think there's enough momentum behind it. It would take, in my opinion, a lot of negative things. Mark Cuban, let's say, for example, actually saying, "I'm done with Doge. It truly is a joke. We sold what I bought for my son, so we're done." For example, that would hurt if Elon Musk basically turned his back on Dogecoin. That would hurt. So it's a meme crypto, right? And again, technical analysis, you could argue, is very difficult to use on it with any consistency, even the typical fundamental analysis, would have to at least be modified with regards to, even the co-founder of Dogecoin basically said, hey, throw out standard convention, if you will. It's worth something because the people are saying that it's worth something. So I think that there is enough support for it, both within the Dogecoin community and with celebrities and the wealthy, and again with a company like Axe saying, hey, if it reaches $1, we're going to produce a branded underarm deodorant, I guess it is, right? And with Slim Jim doing what they're doing and literally selling an NFT, and that money going to charity. It's got a lot of good things going for it. I don't know that we're ever going to be in a situation where Jim Cramer, for example, thinks that it's stupid, or where Yahoo Finance or CNBC, those guys on Squawk Box and all that, they're probably going to continue to misspeak, honestly, about things like it has an unlimited supply. Well, yes and no. In one sense, it is unlimited, if in the sense of, if you think of infinity, but there's only so many that can be mined per year. There is a over time, the inflation rate is going to actually start going down on a curve, if you think of it that way. It does mimic a fiat currency, but with the ability to appreciate and to stay ahead of what we've seen as inflation right now. So I guess to answer your question, I really think in many ways it's already gotten to that point. So I think what we get to look forward to now is it just going to the moon, right? So that's where I'm at on that. All his life savings, quite the risk taker. Yes, he was. I mean, and potentially what makes it even worse is apparently he still kept it all. When I say worse, I've said openly and honestly that I have a couple of exit points, in the sense of not fully exiting, but when I think about what kind of profits I would take, and I might then move it into something else that's not quite as quote unquote risky. I'm not saying I would just take it all out as cash, but I've thought about this. If I got to a point where I was $250,000 up profit, and I was past a year, and Joe Biden, has not been able to do this 45% thing or this 80% thing, all those things, the perfect storm, if you will, in a good sense. If I'm $250,000 up, I would probably be thinking about taking some of that out, right? If I'm at $500,000, if I'm at $1 million, I'm heavily considering taking some of that out. I have a family, 54 years old, all kinds of factors for me that say, hey, it may be time to take some profit. And what you'll also find out on this channel, you're not going to be beat up if you decide to take profit even after just making $500. You get to choose. I don't get to choose for you. If you ask me a question and you say, should I do this? Should I do that? I'll normally try to answer it in the way of saying, well, if it were me, if I was in your situation, this is probably what I would do, so that it doesn't come off as advice so much, because I guess we get in trouble if we can be sued, I guess, if we give quote unquote advice. But, I can only say for me, and I've already really mentioned that, I want to accumulate, and then I'm looking forward to what they call life-changing money, right? If that's possible, if that's in the cards, that's where I'm headed with it. I'm in it to win it. As I say, I am in principle with regards to my approach, a hold on for dear life, kind of guy. But if you want to day trade, and we've got some of our regulars now that in essence day trade Dogecoin, and their approach is they're not day trading to just take a little $500 here or $200 there and pull it out completely and put it in their bank account, and that would be okay. But their approach is to buy on these dips. Again, a dip is just something less than what it has been. If it's been 35 and now it's at 25, 25 is a dip. If it was 40 and now it's at 35, 35 is a dip. It looks less like a dip if it then goes down to 20, but nonetheless, your dollar cost averaging, and you're buying when it's lower. And he's been, taking those small opportunities to make $200 or $300 and just buying more Dogecoin with that. So I think that's a great strategy, honestly. I mean, it may not be a fun year tax-wise, but if you're making more then what you're having to pay in taxes, it's a no-brainer, right? It's like I said this the other night. If I can make $100, or if I generate $100 that I would not be able to generate otherwise by doing a thing, whatever that thing is, I would all day, every day give someone $25 of it, right? I'm still $75 ahead. So, that's the one thing that I think that holds a lot of people back. And I'm going to start getting philosophical, so I won't go too far with this, but that's what holds a lot of people back in business with regards to either hiring other people or not signing a particular agreement with someone, or taking some business because they are not getting what they think they should. But if it's incremental, and if that's business that they would never ever get, and it's not a moral issue, then sometimes we have to eat our pride, I guess, and say, hey, I think I'm worth 1,000, but I'll take 800, because although I'm worth 1,000, if I walk away from this, I'm going to get 0. So anyway, let me get caught up. I'm honestly actually way behind on the comments, I think. Let me see. Or maybe I'm caught up. No, I'm not. Okay, I may have missed some of them, guys. I'm sorry. Alex, you're asking. Okay, I'm gonna answer your question, Alex. Let me get to some of the others that are ahead of you just for a minute. ARC is long term. Yes, I agree with that. Voyager will allow ADA and vet purchases also. Cool. I think Voyager I definitely have to check out then. What about XRP? And maybe you've already said XRP. If you don't mind me asking, how many Dogecoins do you hold? Okay, I'm going to give my wife was like, and I do care about my relationship. My wife was like, they don't need to know all that detail. So I'm going to give you a range instead. I would tell you completely, but my wife watches some of these, and she is my sounding board sometimes, I'll be honest. So I'll give you a range of, I have between 10,000 and 20,000. That's a pretty small range, right? So between 10 and 20,000. I had more, I'll honestly say, as well, before I on that fateful day, timed the worst timing ever, right? Sold it so that I could buy more, because my goal is 50,000, at least 50,000. That's my first goal, and then I'll reassess, and if things work out, and if it continues to be what we all think it will be and what we all hope it will be, then my next goal would be, let's say, 75, and work it up. It'd be amazing and awesome to have 100,000. But there are some of our friends that have been on over the last couple of days that have had, if they're telling the truth, I'm not suggesting they're not, but 250,000, 350,000 coins, which is just amazing. And I've also said this before and completely mean it. And that's honestly one of the things that I like about, being able to live stream and building a community. I certainly hope that one day, any number of you and others, I hope that will come into the fold, if you will, comment in the chat one day that they just made $250,000 or they just made $1 million. And obviously that's life-changing. Now life-changing is also depends on the person. So you get to decide what's life-changing for you. Okay, Alex, now we're to your question again. Do you think XRP is a good buy right now? If so, where do I buy it? From everything I know, I'm going to answer that in two ways. Just like Bitcoin to a certain extent, just like Ethereum to a certain extent. Not so much Doge now, I don't think. And just like some of the other cryptos right now. Cryptocurrencies in general are depressed in price because of all of these things that have been, especially the capital gains. Stock market, in comparison, for example, has for the most part recovered from their overreaction on the capital gains. Cryptocurrencies are still suffering from uncertainty and all of that. XRP, I look at it every day. Every day I'm like, okay, I need to get some of it. I'm not currently on an exchange where I can get it, but I think CK said Voyager, so I would look into Voyager. CK did say Voyager. Well, CK, maybe you can remind me again, because I've already forgotten. I know you said, CK said that ADA, which is Cardano, that's another one I definitely recommend. VET is another one that I'm hearing that is, I think it's about 18 cents right now. So VET is very promising. I'm going to do more research on that, probably be talking about that one more in the days ahead. But check out Voyager, XRP, just so you know, and you should, I shouldn't say you should. I recommend that you Google that a little bit more as well. Do a little bit of your own research on kind of the struggles that they've had with the SEC. The SEC wanted to, I think, basically say that they were more like a stock than a cryptocurrency. And so XRP got delisted from Coinbase. Coinbase used to have XRP on there. It'd be great if Robinhood or Webull would add it, but yeah, they haven't yet. Okay, CK, USDC is 1-to-1 on the USD. So do you just buy it? I mean, in other words, can you just go and get USDC, I'm assuming, and then I guess the reason you would have that is so that you can use it in essence as a way to buy on the exchange a different crypto. And the only problem I have with that, if I understand it right, is I guess if it's a 1-to-1, then there would probably never be a tax implication on that, right? Because if you buy it for $1 and you use it as an equivalent of $1, I'm going to guess that there is no tax implication. Hey, Chris, you say interesting. I'm sorry. I've been kind of going back and forth. I'm not 100% certain what's interesting to you. But anyway. Okay. I'm from the U.S., but I live in Mexico. Okay. Well, I don't think that will... I don't know if that's been a problem for you or not, but let us know how it goes. I'd love to hear that you've been able to get your issues resolved with a platform where you can actually participate in all of this. Had 3 friends join Voyager, but so far 3 have been waiting over a week. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to check that out. I want to get on it, if nothing else, to especially a lot of these popular exchanges. I want to get on and maybe have something in there just so I can have some context and perspective. Yep, you're right, Alex. They are. A lot of them are going down. I'm curious also, any of you guys use BlockFi right now? BlockFi. That's the thing that I know of it the most is a way to stake your crypto, and what that means for those that may not know. And again, a lot of this stuff I'm actually learning as well. You can basically earn interest on your crypto. Now, I think it was already mentioned that platforms like Voyager also does that. I think Coinbase even does that. So a lot of these exchanges have that option. So I'm trying to figure out why you would go with BlockFi as opposed to doing it on one of the exchanges that offers it, unless BlockFi maybe pays more interest. Some of these are really interesting. I mean, 6%, 8%. And so especially if you're a hodler, why not get the capital appreciation, excuse me, and also earn interest? I'm going to have to take a break here in just a second and get my water, but I'm going to try to get caught up in the comments, and I'm going to turn the music up. And if you guys will hang, literally give me 1 or 2 minutes and we'll get back. But I'm not going to quite break yet, but I will. Got a message from Robin Hood way back. The other comments. GameStop did the same. Yep. I know that they've got their problems. They've got some things that they need to deal with to make some people feel comfortable. They have lost some customers, potentially forever. There's people that I've seen say they'll never go back, and they get to decide that. That's fine, if they want to. Is there a way to buy crypto without using apps like Robinhood or Coinbase? You could buy it. You don't have to use the app. A lot of them you can do it from a web browser. So I'm assuming when you say without the app, you would still expect to have to do it through the internet over a browser. But sure, Webull, for example, technically Robinhood, you don't have to download the app. You can buy on Robinhood through the internet. You don't have to use the app. I think it's true actually of Coinbase as well. Kraken is another one. QCoin, although I had problems with it today trying to figure it out, you can buy through QCoin. That's KUCOIN. Voyager is one of the ones that I'm pretty sure is only an app. So I think with Voyager, you have to use the app. But a lot of the others, you can choose to do it from a web interface. Yeah, this market, this steady pace thing, you're right. And again, I think a large part of that is due to also the activity of the whales. The whales are manipulating, and I don't use that term necessarily negatively, but it is the truth. I really believe that they are manipulating, or artificially, if you want to use that term, keeping the price at a certain level because of the sheer volume that they are able to wield. I just want Dogecoin to go really high so I can sell. Then hopefully after there's a big dip, so I can buy a lot more. I usually, so let me ask Alex, so what is, have you already picked a number? In other words, at what point, what price level are you looking? At what price level would you sell to do exactly what you're talking about? For you, is it 45 cents? Is it 50 cents? Is it $1? And just know, and you pretty much already said it because of what you're saying there about the bad luck, just know that it could be a day like the day that I had, where here's the reality. And I'm not saying don't do what you're talking about doing, because, it is what it is, but obviously it could be the case where you do exactly what you're talking about with the intention of buying more, and you just may have to wait longer than you might have otherwise thought, because you could do what you exactly said, and then literally the next day, or even while you're asleep, because someone had privileged information or whatever, and breaking news that Jeff Bezos has said that Amazon is going to be accepting Dogecoin. Let's say it breaks first in during U.S. 2:00 in the morning. Asia reacts to that, and the price is now. You wake up and the price is $1. You sold at 45. You made money, but now, especially if you sold it all, the question becomes, is it ever going to come back to 45? Maybe it will. If it doesn't, are you willing to jump back in at a higher price, right? So I honestly panicked when I did mine, because I'm like, okay, I know this is something I want to hold for a long term. When am I going to get back in? In hindsight, I could have waited. Hindsight's 2020, as they say. I could have waited and bought back in at 17 and been in a much better position than I am right now. That just didn't happen. Lesson learned. It just happens sometimes. 85% profit. Yep. Those are great days, right? I'll make the promise to you, I'll be on those coming back. 1 year from today, I will be a millionaire from crypto. Cool. Just keep coming back until you're a millionaire, though. But I'm ready. I'm ready for that day. I'm super excited about it happening for some. XRP, Cardano, Vet, while they are low. Hey, Sean, let us know are you able to get all? Do you own all three of those? And are you able to own all three of those on the same exchange, or did you have to go to multiple places? Okay, not allowed on Voyager at the moment. Yep, I buy XRP on Bitrue and Uphold. I have not heard of either one of those, so we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to look into that. Okay, 9%. Wow, that's a really good. I actually have to write that down. And then I'm gonna take the break. You guys keep the comments coming. %9 interest is just crazy. So is that on Voyager? Okay, let's look at this. Yesterday I asked you a question. Someone asked me, I remember the question. They put 700 in, lost 4. If 300 left, should they get out back in? I'm sorry, to hold. They don't want to put more money. So I'm sorry, Chris, I'm not sure. I remember the question, but I'm not 100% certain I understand what you're stating here. Did they stay in? Did they get out? Do they have a long-term, although they got afraid, were they hoping to stay in long-term, or were they looking to make a certain amount of money and get out completely? I'm really curious. Earn 2% interest on Doge every month on Voyager. Hey, you can't beat that. So you can buy Doge on Voyager, huh? Or did you have to transfer it in? Good question. What's your price level as well? Okay, my price level is, if you're asking me, Chris, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, mine is not a price level per se, as far as selling, if you will. Mine is more of a dollar amount, a dollar amount of profit that I've gotten to. So, like I mentioned earlier, it would be very tempting and something I would have to consider heavily. Let's say that, my investment had got to the point in Dogecoin where I'd made $250 profit. I would really consider at that point taking some of that out. Okay, and CK, I'm sorry if you've already said that and I missed it. You guys again are being really engaging tonight. So you probably already said that you can buy Doge on Voyager, and I might have missed it. So as I mentioned, I'm going to put the little ticker down here so that you guys know that I'm going to come right back, and I'm going to turn the music up a little bit. You guys hang with me. I'm not done yet. I'll be right back.
Just keep climbing, just keep climbing, just keep climbing, just keep climbing, yeah, just keep climbing.
All right, I'm back. And let's see what we got here. So Chris is asking for CK to explain USDC, and Chris or CK, by all means, chime in here, and I'll say while I'm waiting to see if you want to say something about it. The way I understand it by just hearing what I just heard, and I'm going to look into it more myself as well. This is something obviously, if I'm going to be talking about cryptocurrencies and all of that, need to know a little bit more about that. Obviously, the world is bigger than Dogecoin, as much as I think Dogecoin is just amazing. I would be remiss to not say that, I think we all should consider having some diversification within our cryptocurrency portfolio, and even beyond that, you probably should consider having some stocks of some sort, and obviously you also want to be diversified within that. But that being said, this USDC, from what I can understand, is basically the equivalent to $1. So $1 in gives you 1 USDC, maybe minus some kind of commission, and maybe you just have to pay the commission depending on the exchange another way. But I think you then have, with the USDC, then you have a way to buy, and I think this is the way, now that we're talking about this, I think this is the way QCoin works and some others, where you can buy Bitcoin, let's say, on the exchange with your USDC. So I think some of these, the way it works is, instead of just putting $100 in your account, like on Robinhood, where you put $100 in there if you're in the United States or whatever, you would have 100 USDC, and then you use that, let's say, to buy XRP or to buy ADA, Cardano, or VET. So I'm pretty sure that that's what we're looking at there. You turn the music down a little bit more. So Chris, I hope that helps some, and we'll find out one way or another if I've got that right. Okay, they stayed in, but should they get out and come back in is what I'm asking. Not if they're losing money, right? If they're losing, in other words, if they spent 700 and that's now worth 300, and their goal is long term, then they definitely don't want to sell right now. As they say, you only lose if you sell, or obviously if it goes to zero. I think the likelihood that Dogecoin is going to go to zero or back to 5 cents, for example, or even back to 17 cents for that matter, may never go below 20, like I mentioned, and it may. But if you've got a long-term view on this, and you believe that it's going to not only get to your break-even point, but go to $1, go to $2, then definitely, if it were me, I'll say it that way. And if someone was close to me and asking my opinion, my response would be, I would stay in. Yeah, Chris. Chris wants to know more about the 9%. So where did, I think he said that was on Voyager, so probably the first step on that, I'm scrolling back to see, I'm pretty sure it was. First step there is to probably go get a Voyager account. I don't think it costs anything to open it up. I'm going to look into Voyager more as well. And, if nothing else, it'll probably be next week, maybe towards the middle of the week. I'll probably talk about it some more, at least with regards to what I have found out. I've heard good things about it, and I've heard some people don't like it so much. I don't remember exactly what it was that they maybe didn't like, but if you can earn interest, 9% is obviously better than you can get in a bank. I mean, who wouldn't want to take, even if it's 9%, who wouldn't want to just put their money that you might otherwise put in a bank, especially if it's relatively liquid, into something that's paying you 9%. That's amazing, and we definitely need to look into it. So, Matt, I'm curious, are you kidding? I'm not. I am the worst at being able to tell when someone's being serious and when someone's kind of being joking around, and I don't care if it's either. I like joking around. I like serious. So, but if you're serious, I'm going to guess you're joking. But if you're serious, I'm curious how you got the inside information, because if you're saying $100,000 per coin, it's never going to happen, right? Not for Dogecoin. Not by this July 4th. It's not going to happen. You can. It's not advice, but you can quote me on that. Now, if you're talking about July 4th, the year, 3000, if the world is still here and the year 3000, maybe, I don't know, probably not even then, but definitely not by July 4th, 2021. If you're talking about per coin, it's just not going to happen. So, Chris, I think there are a number of, for one, so USDC, you would only need it, two reasons you would want it or need it. One reason would be on some of the exchanges, that's the way that you buy the other crypto that's on their exchange, their platform. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to buy XRP, right? If I think I understand this right, you would, with US dollars, transferring money in through a bank, credit card, whatever, you would buy $200 of USDC, and you would get 200 USDC coins, or maybe they're called stable coins. It might be actually termed stable coin. And then you would use that as basically like dollars to buy XRP. And so then you would say, I want to spend 150 USDC on XRP. They would determine how many you could get for that $150, and that transaction would happen. And now in your account, you would have, instead of 200 USDC, you would have 50 left. I think if that makes sense to you, I think that's the way it works. And CK, it looks like he's commenting some ahead here. Yeah, you're just messing. Thanks. That's cool though. I felt the same, but I didn't want to tell him to hold. I get it. No, it's not everyone has the the same level of nerves of steel, quote unquote. To be eligible for USDC interest payments, must maintain monthly minimum average, which is $100, and the average of whatever you can have, the total value is divided by. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, $100, and I'm not necessarily sure I'm following the other part, but let's read this again. To be eligible for USDC interest payments, must maintain monthly minimum average, which is $100, and the average of whatever you have, the total value is divided by. Okay. That's pretty cool though. So you earn 9% on Voyager. Is that right? And then why do you only get 2% on Doge? Is it different? You know what? I've gotten caught up with the comments. You guys keep them coming, but I'm gonna kind of pull up a couple of other things that I had saved to just kind of talk about. Let's go ahead and pull this article up, just because this is really what I started out talking about. So if you're watching the replay, we didn't talk about this as much in the beginning. I mean, we did, but I had intended on bringing up this article as well to talk about, will Jeff Bezos invest in Dogecoin? I'm curious, you guys, if you want to have a little bit more engagement here, just let me know what's the percentage chance. I'll say 50, right? So if you think it's a 75% chance that he's going to invest in it, great. And then not only invest in it, but also announce that Dogecoin would be acceptable or would be accepted as a form of payment on Amazon. So let's see what they think here. I think we maybe have all heard that there are some that there is a petition, if you will, out there to petition not Jeff Bezos to invest, but to petition Amazon to start accepting it. But here we go. A group of cryptocurrency analysts recently suggested Amazon founder Jeff Bezos may be the one investor who could push Dogecoin value over the $1 mark. I think that Elon could do that as well. I don't think it takes Jeff Bezos in addition, but certainly either one of them, depending on what they kind of decide to say and depending on what they kind of how active they decide to be, they could certainly do it. The self-made analyst, quote unquote, recently suggested that an investment from Bezos would mark a massive turn in the success of the meme-based cryptocurrency. There's speculation that Jeff Bezos might be coming to the scene as a second lead. I have no idea. Where in the world do they get that? Right? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I would like for them to share their source. I'm excited about the possibility of it. I think it would be an amazing thing, but I actually am not a big fan of sensationalizing something or basically using something as clickbait. As I mentioned last night, I think I saw another video description that said, as a statement, not there wasn't even a question mark behind it, which would have been appropriate, basically said Amazon accepts Dogecoin or something along those lines, and there wasn't a question mark. And then the whole video then is about, okay, this is what would happen if, not a video about now that they have said they're going to accept Dogecoin, what does that mean? So anyway, the adoption from someone like Bezos can set Dogecoin to $1 in less than 24 hours, not even 24 hours, but less. Not only would it have the approval of Bezos, but it would be supported by the two richest men in the world. That's true, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. It's pretty interesting, right, that the two richest men in the world both have interest also in space. So SpaceX won, this big contract, $2.3 billion or whatever it is, and they were bidding against Jeff Bezos' company, Blue Angel or whatever it's called. Of course, it's only a rumor. That's true. It really is only a rumor. I've not found anywhere on the internet where Jeff Bezos is legitimately quoted as to even having ever spelled the word Dogecoin, let alone suggest that he might be getting into it. But he could. He could already own it, for that matter. He could already have $1 million worth. He could already have several million coins. Who knows? He could be one of the whales, and we wouldn't know it. But Tesla founder Elon Musk has often celebrated and cheered. Yes, we know that. Okay. So, a lot of this is history. Okay, so that's it. But I mean, it's an interesting thing to consider, to contemplate what would happen if Jeff Bezos, decided to support Dogecoin. I think it'd be a great, obviously. Yeah, okay, Chris, I think that CK is trying to earn 5.2 on ADA minimum 1,000 monthly average. Okay, so obviously, CK, it depends on the actual cryptocurrency. In other words, it's variable. It sounds like it depends on, so Doge is 2, and that makes sense to me because some of these cryptocurrencies are more desirable to people than others, and have, at least currently, more utility than others do. So it makes sense to me that that each of the cryptocurrencies may have a different interest rate. So what that means with ADA or Cardano, I mean, let's look at it right now. Well, yeah, let me look up something. I'm pulling up a website here, and then I'm going to show it to you. Okay, here we go. So this is Cardano right now. So it's a dollar. It's at $1.10 right now, $1.10. So you'd have to multiply that times 1,000, and that's how many dollars you basically would have to have spent to get those 1,000 coins, if I'm reading that right. $1,000 monthly average. So are you, CK, you're talking about 1,000 coin monthly average of ADA, I'm assuming. $50 to $75 would be great, Chris. I'm honestly still wanting it to go back down to 19 or 17, right? So that I can buy some more. But if it becomes apparently clear that it's not likely to go back down there again, then I'm probably, that I'll probably be looking to get some more at 25, something like that. It's still at 27. It's, like I said, I hope this is taken the right way. I'm still super excited about Doge and its future and all the things that are going on around it. But the price right now being so flat is, it's a little bit, it's not as fun, obviously, as when you're watching it go up from 9 cents to almost 50 cents, right? It's obviously always kind of cool to look at that graph and watch it going, almost straight up. But that's even a more happy day when you've got, quite a few coins. I got to bring. Okay, can you look up this company called Elon? Can you find if they sent out satellites? Elon. Okay, yeah, I can look it up. Is this the company you're talking about? A Lot Works? Satellite broadband service needed. So it sounds, if they're doing this, this is what Elon Musk has also got a satellite, right, or internet. So I just looked this. Is it Skynet? Anyway, Elon Musk. The way I found it again, because I always forget what it's called. Skynet is not it. That's from Starlink. Yeah. So I'm super tempted to get the Starlink service. That's another thing. Maybe if my audience that is now full of people that are interested in cryptocurrency, if you're interested in some technology things, I love to cover that kind of stuff as well. You guys will have to let me know and be super honest. What other things would you spend time hanging around on a live stream to hear about? What kind of technology things? I have not heard of a lot, this company called A Lot, but I will look into it some more. Let's see. A Lot Works. A Lot Communications authorized reseller. Oh, okay. So A Lot Communications. Let's look that up instead, because ALLOTCOMM. There we go. A Lot Communications. Here we go. Sorry, what I had up was a distributor of theirs. Protect your 5G network from. I wonder if they have. It looks like they may be more focused on corporate, if you will, kind of things versus individuals, but I could be wrong. A Lot Communications. I'm going to look them up on stock. Okay, it's ALLT. So let's see if we can bring this up on Weeble. ALLT. Yep. So their 52-week high is $20, so they're under a little bit, but they're close to their 52-week high. 52-week low of 8. So I'll have to do some more research on them. I've not, but I'm going to add them to my watch list. And I also need to look at Sundial more. We talked about that briefly earlier, and I definitely want to look into them more, because I have also heard a number of other people talking about them. Hey, CK, yeah, man, thanks a bunch for the stuff you're sharing. It's gold as far as I'm concerned. So very much appreciate your contribution. I hope that you will come back in the nights ahead. I didn't think I was going to be able to go live tonight, and I thought my streak was going to be broken because I was having problems with the internet. I unplugged it all, plugged it back in, and it just wasn't coming back. It finally did. So tonight, by the way, again, I said it way at the beginning, 2 hours ago now, or 2.5 hours ago now, but this is my 95th night to go live in a row. My original goal was to go live for 100 days in a row. I'm also going live every day in April for a challenge for StreamYard, which is the web-based or cloud-based streaming solution that I use. They're doing a challenge for people to go live every day in April. I already had that covered, except for 2 days. I was going to basically be done with my 100 days 2 days before the end of April. I've extended it to at least 102. I think given the community that seems to be kind of building up here, that I'll probably continue going live every day. May have to start cutting them down to about an hour and find the sweet spot where we've got a good number of people joining. But I'm more than thrilled with who we have right now. You guys have become regulars, and it means a lot to me. You're here for a long time, not a good time. That's cool, man. So you bought into the? Are you saying you bought into the company a lot? That's pretty cool. You're gonna have to let us know how that goes. Great, man. CK, thanks a bunch. So where are you from, man? What state? You don't necessarily have to tell me what city, but sent you an email the other day. Would love to chat when you're free. Okay, sure, Chris. Did you send it to that Shane at trammel.me? I'll go check it out. Okay, cool. I will definitely check it out. Thanks. Oh, I need to change this banner still saying that I will be back. I've been back for a while. So let me know. We've still got a pretty good crowd on here. Are you interested in a diversion, if you will, every once in a while to at least a part of the live stream being on, technology? I just need to know what you guys are interested in. I could talk about, obviously, this stuff all day. I mean, I've gone now my longest 5.5 hours, and it was pretty much all about cryptocurrency with some stocks thrown in for good measure, as they say. But, I guess the interesting thing is that, prior to jumping on the Dogecoin bandwagon and deciding to get back into the stock market and all that, I talked for 80 plus nights straight about, helping small businesses, anyone actually that's, wanting to grow their business, talking about social media, digital marketing, email marketing, how to build a YouTube channel, and, live streaming technology, lighting, video equipment, all of that. So I'm going to assume that maybe probably most of y'all are not into that stuff, and that's perfectly fine. I've got so much, I think, to honestly learn, even with regards to what we're talking about, so we can all kind of go along the journey together. This cryptocurrency and just the crypto ecosystem is just mind-boggling, how much is involved in it, also how complicated or how complex it can be. The blockchain, what that really is, competing blockchains. There's not just one blockchain, there's multiple blockchains. There are blockchains that have been designed for one thing versus another, decentralized finance, others that are designed for track and trace, for supply chain, to be able to track basically a let's say an item that's left the manufacturer on its way to the ultimate customer, and being able to track it with what they call Internet of Things, all the way from its origination, where it originated from, to the final destination, and then everything in between, to be able to track and trace. Imagine tracking and tracing all the way through its use for pharmaceutical things, drugs. So it's pretty fascinating, and that's what VET or VeChain is. Sorry about that lighting thing. That's what VeChain, from what I understand, is doing, or VET. They're very focused on supply chain in many ways, and that's what I've done for the last 25 years. Supply chain management, working with, Fortune 100 companies, helping them transform their business, move from where they're at to where they want to be with regards to technology. Arguably nothing is more important, and nothing was more important when COVID-19 hit. Those companies that had a well-balanced, well-defined, a well-optimized supply chain were, definitely less impacted. There probably wasn't a single company that wasn't impacted in some way or another, but those that had a supply chain that was diverse and very agile, they were better able to weather the storm that initial, year almost, I guess. But yeah, that's what we spent several months doing, working with our clients and potential clients, helping them understand how can you, basically design a supply chain for your company that will be able to withstand something like COVID-19, or to be better prepared for something like a COVID-19 when it comes. It's not a matter of if it comes, but when something like that comes again. And maybe it won't be a pandemic. It might be something else, but nonetheless, something that impacts, a considerable percentage of the population. So, okay, I'm going to look here for just a minute. I just started to say we were caught up on the comments, but I am seeing some more here. CK, so Washington State. CK's in Washington State. That's awesome. I spent a number of years traveling back and forth to Seattle, and then Renton and Bellevue, working with Boeing and a number of different, a number of their different business units, and also St. Louis for defense, their defense aspects of their business. So Washington State is a really cool place. Chris is from California. I'm from Texas. Yes, let's get to the moon together. But let's go on to Mars, right? Why stop at the moon? Or we'll go to the moon, come back, and then go to Mars. It's interesting because I've mentioned this before, but Elon Musk, I saw him in an interview, and he was actually telling the people how kind of sad, I guess, in a sense he was, that he... So sorry. How sad he was that he didn't think he would ever see, us go to Mars, because it's still a ways off. And so I know he's, I think a lot of people forget how brilliant he is. I think a lot of people think of him obviously as a businessman because of Tesla. And, I don't know how many people know that he basically invented PayPal, or co-invented PayPal, and then sold it and all of that. He actually, from what I understand, I think it was PayPal, where he sold PayPal, took all the money, invested it in what is now Tesla, and borrowed money to pay his rent in an apartment. So very unorthodox, not what you would, I guess, typically think of, right, as what you would do. But he's definitely an interesting character. So I thought this was interesting just because, as we know, the Dallas Mavericks are accepting Dogecoin. So I found this tweet on Twitter. was searching. Don't know who this person is, but they're talking about this being their first Dogecoin purchase that they got yesterday, and I think this was posted today. And this guy, I'm gonna assume it's a guy, but anyway, this person. So sorry. I guess when you're live, you can yawn. I'd probably have to edit that out if it was a pre-recorded video. So if you're watching this on the replay, just know that we were live streaming this, and we're now almost in the third hour, I think. But he says, but since the Warriors, cough, cough, don't accept Doge yet, I had to demonstrate with the Marv merchandise. That's pretty cool. And it says, plus Luca. I guess Luca's number 77. This beast, hopefully I can get it autographed or some. So this is pretty cool, right? I mean, the more and more we see of this, as we've mentioned, the more it's embraced and accepted as a form of, in essence, currency, truly currency, fiat currency, but digital, like the US dollar, like the peso, like the yen, or like the mark, or like the euro, all the different currencies, as it's used more and more for that, then those of us that are holding on for dear life, those of us that are hodlers, those that are looking, those of us that are looking for it to go up, this isn't a necessary part of the process to get it there, is for people to use it. And as we've already mentioned, it's architecturally, if I can use that term, well suited for that use, since it's has low transaction cost, and the speed with which the transaction is executed is much, much faster. Yep, that's true, Chris. He definitely doesn't, goes against the grain, if you will. It's kind of that contrarian mindset. In other words, it's like, if everybody's telling me I can't do it, not only must I do it, but it's also probably achievable. So, hey, Sean, you're still around. You've been really quiet, my friend. But if Doge skyrockets, I'm definitely buying a Doncic jersey. Cool. I'm not going to talk about it tonight because it may not be something you guys are interested in tonight, and we will probably, I'm guessing we'll actually call it a night here in just 10 minutes or so. But this whole NFT, or non-fungible token thing, is actually quite interesting. And so imagine, I'll just say it this way, imagine that there are a limited edition Doncic jersey, and there's 10 of them, 1 through 10, right? And they're numbered. And so obviously, or I say obviously, but generally speaking, with limited editions, the number 1 is more prized than the number 10. Or maybe someone likes number 10 better. Anyway, it kind of depends, but generally speaking, that kind of thing. And so imagine with an NFT, you could marry up a physical thing, like the actual jersey that you wear, with an accompanying, with coming with it, in other words, an NFT, a digital asset that gives you other privileges. In other words, maybe it is a virtual phone call. I say virtual, or maybe more like a live. You get to go on live with this athlete or this musician or this Jeff Bezos, whatever it is, right? You get to go and have a Zoom call with them for 30 minutes. or maybe it's an author. And if you get the gold, maybe you buy the book. It's just a Kindle book, let's say, but if it's an NFT, non-fungible token, which is basically a smart contract, and that's what Cardano is trying to do, basically smart contracts. That's what, among the other things, Ethereum does, these smart contracts. With that, with an author, you buy the platinum edition of the digital book. Well, the book itself could be the same, but with the platinum edition, you get to be a part of the author's book club, and you get to be on a monthly Zoom call with the author. So that's just some examples of how these NFTs are likely to be used in the future. That's true, Chris. Yep. Hey, that's perfectly fine, Sean. I was just joking. So definitely prep for the exam. That's more important. We will be here. But I do appreciate if you kept it going, though. That's amazing. If you didn't, that's fine as well. But we'll take all the watch time we can get. But I hope you do. I hope you do really well on the exam. So thank you so much. I'm glad you keep it going. That's awesome. What's your opinion on SafeMoon? Okay. Very good question. You are one of the first that have asked my opinion. I know some people have it, and what I'm about to say won't be necessarily positive about it from my perspective, but at the same time, I'm not saying don't get it or whatever. I'm not, right now, it's not something that I'm too keen on. I've heard some people that I respect, have serious reservations on it. And at this point in time, with Dogecoin taking up a lot of my time, and since I'm actually invested in Dogecoin, since I believe in it and have a good sense of where it's at and where it's most likely going, and since it has some real people behind it and those types of things, then I'm not going to be, in SafeMoon right now. But, I know that people have made some good money, but it's also true that it took about a 300% dive, I think, just the other day, and then another 10% or something like that. Not saying it couldn't go back up again. But, I've stayed away from SafeMoon at this point in time. It's hard for me to tell you what you should do, but I'm staying on the sidelines right now with SafeMoon. Hey, Moneybags, thanks for joining. Bezos has better things to do than support a Dogecoin that has an uncertain future value. Well, yes, Elon Musk does as well. If Jeff Bezos does, arguably even more so, or equally so, at least, Elon Musk. So it's not about necessarily, him having more important things to do. It could be just something fun, right? I mean, maybe Bezos doesn't like to have fun as much as Elon Musk, and Elon Musk probably likes to combine his fun with something that actually returns something. So the reality is, Elon Musk probably knows that when he says something, it's going to have a positive impact using the power of his influence. And, Jeff Bezos, I would just say, gets to choose. I don't know if it's necessarily that he has better things to do. He gets to choose. I mean, I would prefer to say it that way. To say that he has better things to do would suggest that helping an up-and-coming cryptocurrency is, bad or unimportant. He just gets to choose one way or another, and you very well could be right. He could be thinking and just not saying that he has no intention of ever getting involved, and he gets to choose that. Yeah, Mad Dog, we are on late tonight. We've been going now. We just crossed over the 3-hour threshold. I'm going to probably have to say goodnight here in a few minutes, but not quite yet. And so CK's, I think, probably on the same wavelength with me about Safe Moon. I think with Safe Moon, I don't think it's quite appropriate to compare it to Dogecoin, because Dogecoin obviously also has had a what some would call a meteoric rise, but nonetheless, I think there are some fundamental differences between the two, which would certainly suggest that Safe Moon is even more risky, even from the get-go. In other words, out of the gate. It's just my opinion. But I know, Mad Dog, I know that you're, I think you're invested in Safe Moon. So I will say at the same time, although I'm hesitant, I obviously hope that it works out for those that are in it. And you certainly will get to say, and, we'll eat crow, as they say, if it turns out to be successful, which I hope it is. I'll be more than happy to celebrate the success, but I'm smart enough to know that I can only focus on so many things well, and my preference is to be able to do, honestly, a few things well, to know a few things really well, and to be able to, especially as a streamer, especially as someone who is passionate about sharing knowledge and that type of thing, then, I know where my limits are. I know when I have stretched myself too thin. And Safe Moon, for me, happens to be one of those things that's just really, outside of the realm of my ability to keep up with it all. So I know there are a lot of people excited about it. Again, I hope it works out for them, but not something I'm going to get into right now. The rise of Dogecoin is bringing up a bunch of micro junk that eventually ruin the crypto market. I don't know about that. It may ruin the crypto market, but I'm sure there's probably a lot of them. I've not only been really, staying up on the crypto market, honestly, for just, about 2 months. Of course, back when Bitcoin first came out, I discounted it. I was too busy. A lot of unanswered questions, like a lot of other people. 10 years later, obviously, hindsight's 2020 would have been a great thing to get into. But the good news is I don't think it's too late for anyone. A lot of good projects out there that are still, approachable to the average person, if you will, with regards to being able to invest into it. But if Safe Moon turns out to be what some people think it's going to turn out to be, then yeah, it will be bad. Others think it's going to be good. We'll just have to wait and see. For some, if they put $1,000 into it, walk away and forget about it. If it turns out to be what they're hoping, then they get to tell us, I told you so, even if it turned out to just be luck. But it very well could, but I'd like to think that people that are into cryptocurrencies, they should really realize, and I say this all the time, that enter into the world of cryptocurrency with caution, with an understanding that there's inherent risk, that it can be very volatile. And I would also say, especially with cryptocurrencies, but even with stocks, I would never get into either one of those with leverage or with margin. But that's just me. That's a recipe for disaster as far as I'm concerned. But there are people that are able to do it and be very successful at it. But there's also many people who have, quote unquote, lost their shirt, doing margin. That's why people in 2008, or whenever it was, jumping out of buildings, unfortunately, it wasn't necessarily the people that had what, for the time being were worthless stocks, because a lot of those stocks, actually, if you'd kept them, you'd have a lot of money now. It was those that, had margin calls and just were devastated with what that really meant financially, which is a shame. Not completely on board with Safe Moon. Hey, it's perfectly fine. I mean, people go to, and I'm not necessarily comparing it to this, but let me say this: people go to Las Vegas all the time, right? Or Louisiana, any number of other places. Chicago, I think you can go out on a boat and gamble and all that. I'm not saying it's an exact comparison, but again, it's your money. You get to choose what you want to do with it. Probably want to allocate a certain amount of fun money that you can, in a sense, throw up on a wall and see whether it sticks or whether it comes down. But, I hope it works out. I hope it works out for everyone that's in Safe Moon. But, I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll go back to money bag. It's, I don't know, right? In other words, I'm not a part of the Safe Moon community. So I don't know if it's a scam or not. I know I have enough reservations that I'm just staying out of it, right? I'm not going to call it a scam. It's perfectly fine, I guess, if you want to. I'm not going to call it a scam. I'm just going to say that I've got enough other things that I think are promising enough that I don't need to focus on yet another one in Safe Moon. I mean, I think that's, and again, they can do what they want to do, but I think some people are diluting the possibilities of Dogecoin on Twitter, where they're basically now, you can find people that were super gung-ho about Dogecoin, and they've not necessarily, well, they haven't in most cases, stopped being big on Dogecoin, but literally in some tweets you're seeing people talk about and push both Safe Moon and Dogecoin at the same time. Some people are saying that Safe Moon is the next Dogecoin with regards to, in other words, the sub penny prices and all of that. So I think I'm done with talking about Safe Moon. You guys can keep talking about it in the chat, and I don't mind in the least. But I've already shared where I'm at on Safe Moon, and I hope everyone that's in it is successful with it. There you go, Mad Dog. I think you're right. I think you're exactly right about that. If they see dollars, if they think that means more people are going to buy stuff from them, or if it gives them goodwill, right? Goodwill is worth money. Being perceived as progressive is worth money, right? All of that. So, and I know Jeff Bezos and the incoming CEO, I don't remember exactly when that's happening, but the incoming CEO, the guy that's replacing Jeff Bezos as a CEO, came from AWS, right, which is one of their most profitable divisions, and I think that it's them. I think AWS has the lion's share of cloud hosting. Azure, Microsoft has a smaller amount. Google has a pretty good amount, and then there's a number of other smaller players. But so I think the new guy coming in from an Amazon perspective has nothing to do with Jeff Bezos personally investing in Dogecoin, but the incoming CEO, given his background, I've heard, don't know this for certain, but I've heard that he's more pro cryptocurrency. You can't find Jeff Bezos, from what I know, not searched it a lot, but you can't find him saying necessarily a lot of good about it or a lot of bad about it. think you can find Bill Gates not being too thrilled with it, but I actually think that he, as much as I love the fact that he's given us the stuff that he's given us and set set things on the path that he has with regards to some of the innovation that we have because of Microsoft. And I don't want to get down a rabbit hole on some of that because that can turn into the same kind of discussion that politics can with regards to bloated code and all kinds of stuff. Nonetheless, the reality is we use, a lot of the things that Microsoft has developed every day. So they've made their contribution. Bill Gates obviously gets a lot of credit for that, but I think he's an elitist. I think that he likes to have control. I think that he likes to, make it seem as though he's a philanthropist and all of that. And I'm not saying that he doesn't do good, but I would venture to guess that he's against cryptocurrency, probably not for even the reasons that he says externally, but because it means less control. The whole thing behind cryptocurrency, again, obviously is decentralization, putting the power in the hands of individuals, democratizing it, making it to where, again, there's no single person controlling it. The centralized nature of a lot of things over time, begins to be the thing that causes it to begin to fail. So anyway, I digressed a little bit there. That's just my thoughts. Yeah, there's always going to be, there's, Sean, there's a company now that, and I saw this today and I'm going to look into it some more just because I always like to know, kind of things that are happening. But there's a company now that, let's say you're a influencer or someone that has some level of notoriety, all those things, you can actually work with them and you can create your own cryptocurrency, like George's crypto or Chris's crypto, Sean's crypto. I don't know exactly how it all works out, but I'm going to look into it because I'm just curious. So, it's just like the internet in general can be used for good. And we know without a shadow of a doubt that it can be used for bad. One of the things that I'm involved in as well is human trafficking. And it's a tool that's used every day, the internet, right, to facilitate that kind of stuff. So there's all good, there's good and bad. Moneybags says Safe Moon is crap, but he's invested. $10 for millions of coins. Why not? There you go. 10 is the cost of a burger these days. You never know. You never know. Put in $10, walk away, and see what happens. You never know. Yeah, why not, Mad Dog? So you're saying when you make 20,000, that's cool. Maybe a week or two, that would be awesome. Yep, Chris, we always miss out on some things, I think. But hey, Moneybags, I want to ask, I don't remember and apologize. Is this your first time to join one of my live streams? I do want to say thanks for coming on. Thanks for your perspective and for engaging. It's what we're looking for. So I want to say thanks for that. And if it is your first time, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Please turn on notifications. I hope you'll come back, and just want to welcome you to the live stream. You must be another night owl. I tease on these live streams because I literally didn't go live. I normally start earlier than that, but didn't go live until 11:30 tonight, and it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to have to shut. It's hard to shut these things down when these comments keep coming. So I've been tempted, and I know some live streamers that those that are on the stream are so engaged, they just leave the stream going and people just chatting back and forth. But anyway, BTT is another one to check out. Or Storm made a bunch of money off these two. Yeah, okay, it runs on the Ethereum blockchain. Hey, I'm also curious, CK, because it sounds like you're obviously, and Moneybags, you may have some input to this. Any of you guys may, but what about I think it's BNB, Binance. It's the Binance coin, I guess, or whatever. I'm curious. I'm curious what you guys think about that. I hear a lot of people talking about Binance and where that may be going. Fine Token, it's coming soon and partnered by Mr. Beast. Fine Token, interesting. Okay, have to look into that. Mr. Beast, one of the most successful YouTubers out there. So he's probably got, probably surrounded by people that obviously have some brains, if you will. And funny thing about Mr. Beast, I don't even know how this is even possible, but I also started a YouTube channel for my company just so that we could put videos out there on supply chain and all those kind of things. And something crazy happened, the moon aligned, if you will, or whatever, and Mr. Beast actually liked one of the videos, and I'm like, how strange is that? How in the world did he come upon that? Yep, he is. Look up the token, releasing at 3 cents. Fine Token, you said. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to look it up for sure. So it's not out yet, I guess. Do you know which... will it be on any of the exchanges, Moneybags? What do you know about where it can be when it's released? Where will you be able to get it at? Hodge burns coins every transactions and passes out coins to all the holders. Interesting. Man, there's just so much out there. It's just mind-boggling. A crypto whale. So are you one of the Dogecoin whales then that we've been talking about for the last, 2 or 3 nights? Because they seem to be manipulating, and again, I don't necessarily mean that term bad, but they seem to be manipulating the price. It stayed at 27 and change, Doge that is, for hours, and then it stayed at 26 or so, I think, for another set of hours. And when you go look at the transactions happening, they're buying and selling within a 15-minute period, and the price that they paid to buy and the price that they paid to sell is the same, and it's exactly what, given with fractions of a penny, the same of exactly what you see quoted on Robinhood or Webull or Kraken. So anyway, it's just interesting. I don't know what's going on. If you do, I'd love to get your perspective for sure. ADA, REN, AMP, Doge, Ethereum. Yeah, you got a nice little wish list there. Mr. Beast is amazing. I mean, I remember watching one of them. I don't watch as much of his videos, but I mean, I like the ones that I've watched. But I remember watching one where basically it was on the side of the road and had a sign up that basically said, hey, stop, and I'm probably butchering it, but basically stop and I'm going to give you a free car. This one lady drove past it and she's like, basically, what do I have to lose? It could actually be the real thing. She turned around, came back, stopped, and of course she got, a free car. So I also like the fact that Mr. Beast, I saw this one other thing, which, I didn't look into it further because I'm like, it's probably not true, but even if it is, whatever, it was like, basically the article was like, Mr. Beast is broke. They were like, he spends more money on each of his videos than he makes. That's probably actually not true. Doesn't even matter necessarily. But I like the fact that he seems to be actually genuinely giving, genuinely a person that wants to help others and all that. And so I think that, and I've talked about this before, it has nothing to do with cryptocurrency, but I do have to say things sometimes that it's just my perspective and the way I'm wired and things, because since we are talking about money, I've said multiple other times that in my way of thinking, money or the increase of money, in someone's life, it just amplifies whoever they already are, right? So if you're a generous person and you come into a lot of money, you're just going to be able to be generous with more people. That's not to say that you won't spend more money on yourself, which is perfectly fine. But generally speaking, I think that more money just amplifies. Hot token is in the eye of the beholder. That's certainly true. It's all about word of mouth, promoting, hyping, or real utility. Yes, definitely. I agree. And like I said, some people have the capacity and or the time or both to know enough about a bigger array of these coins, and they just have a broader level of interest and time to look into them. But anyway, I just use Robinhood. Where do I search up different coins at? I've been wondering about that. I wanted to get Safe Moon, but don't know how. So Mad Dog could probably tell you. Mad Dog, I looked into this, and then I actually, as soon as it, I probably should know. If I was a good YouTuber, and I'm about to make a joke in a certain sense, if I was a good YouTuber, I would do a video on telling people how to get Safe Moon, even though I'm not necessarily big on it, even though I might actually think that it's a little scary. So I should probably do a video on it. I'm joking in a sense, because there are some YouTube channels on there that have been talking about Dogecoin a bunch, and then now they're throwing in the Safe Moon word in their titles and all that. And I'm not saying I'm angry that they're doing that, but again, I don't have the time, honestly, to do that. But you can Google it, and I guarantee you'll find it. But you get the Trust Wallet, from what I understand, or that's, I think, the primary one that most people use. And then you have to there's this pancake thing, and I'm not even joking. I'm completely butchering it. But anyway, I think Mad Dog could probably tell us, if he wants to, again, because I know he would be repeating himself. But Mad Dog could tell us how to get it. Okay, so Mad Dog, you keep bringing stuff up, and all you guys keep bringing up stuff that makes me not be able to shut this stream down, which I'm all about the watch hours. By the way, I'd normally briefly mention this when it kind of lends itself to doing it, but I hope you guys can understand that I am trying to grow the YouTube channel, not so much so that I'm being an idiot or being ridiculous and just doing things that aren't me, and all the things that you see sometimes when someone is obvious, just going overboard trying to grow their YouTube channel. But I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. So to the extent that you guys are getting value out of this, the more you can share it out and stuff would be amazing. I don't want to pressure anyone to do it, none of that. But I'm loving what we're doing here, and would love to see more people come over. And it's comments like this, actually, from Mad Dog and others, that why I like it. So it seems to me like BNB is also kind of like the US, USDC, where you basically use that as the quote unquote currency to buy other coins. So it's pretty interesting. Hey, Chris. Thanks, man. You are too kind. You are too kind. Find token, possibly Binance partnership, Pancake Swap for sure, for BNB exchange. Okay, cool, man. Thanks, Moneybags. Thanks a bunch. Hey, if you don't mind me asking, Moneybags, did you find this stream by searching on YouTube? Was it recommended? Did it show up on the home or maybe Twitter? I'm just trying to get a sense of how people are finding me. It helps a little bit to know. April 23rd. I'm definitely going to have to look into Find Token. He made a free car dealership. Yeah, Mr. Beast. He's, I mean, it's amazing what goes into each of his videos. And it's, you know, obviously he probably doesn't have a single video, you know, since he just blew up that doesn't have millions of views. It's just incredible. Okay, there you go. Mad Dog is telling us how to, telling you that it's kind of a pain in the butt, but a way that you can get Safe Moon. Fully invested in Doge. I have Bitcoin from a while back. Yep. I mean, I'll be honest as well. As much as I say diversification, and I really mean it. I mean, I'm right now, my Robinhood account's the only place that I have Dogecoin, and my Robinhood account is almost right now, not quite, but almost 100% Dogecoin, because that was the platform that I used to get into Dogecoin. It's not 100% of what I have invested, but it is at least right now, the lion's share. So I am not very well diversified at this point in time, but I think everyone has heard me say, you know, multiple times, my wish list, I think is pretty solid. I just need to get to the point where I actually have them in my portfolio. But hey, Mad Dog, yeah, I think I'm about to shut this down. Good night. Thanks a bunch. Fall asleep watching Doge. Go sideways. Yeah. But you guys make it a little bit more interesting. Again, we can talk about a lot of things. Don't have to talk about the price necessarily, because that right now is not very interesting. CJ, yep, see you tomorrow as well. I found you searching Doge and filter live content. Yep, Mad Dog, I remember you telling me that. That's great. And stream popped up while searching Dogecoin. Good night. Like the channel. Your voice is soothing and relaxing. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks. I think you guys are giving me a good excuse to go ahead and just shut the stream down. What I am going to do, for those that want to linger just a little bit, is I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to turn up the music, and you can just watch the sideways, or you can exit. Either one's perfectly fine. I will be back again tomorrow night, so see you in the next live stream. All right, bye.